Welcome to this evening's Mars Anomalies and Beyond podcast. Oh yeah. Alrighty. Let's get ready to this bad boy. What's going on, everyone? What's happening? Good to have everybody in there. Oh boy. Talk about just making it in. My apologies for being a few minutes late. Yeah, all those fun things, getting out of work, and looking forward to doing the lawn and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, that's always nice. What's temperature right now? 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too shabby, considering the last few days were like, let's see, 50s, rainy, basically crappy. Yeah, all of that. It's basically weather for, ducks and, fooling around with the old lady, if you get what I mean. Oh, but anyway, so the weather's been trash, but now it's getting better over this weekend, and it's supposed to be like 80, 82, something like that this week coming up. So we're not going to complain. We're not going to complain at all. Okay, so the audio's working. Do a quick roll call. Mr. Peter Ferrero's in there. Buffalo, New York here. Hi, Chris. Let me move this thing over here a little bit, and we'll do this. Can we do that? No, we cannot do that because you've done too much. Let me see. All right, there it goes. Let's see. Mr. Richard Bunt, what's going on? Mr. I like this channel, says Richard. What's going on, Richard? Again, good to see you in there. Paul Bonfiglio, what's happening? Says, can't wait. Oh, and Richard, Ricardo, rather. I'm looking at this other name, too, as well. Ricardo Petrazzi, always good to see you there. Says, oh, yeah, Saturday, Mars fun. Goat Hard, what's happening? He said, from the formerly divided city of Berlin, never mind the blurring. Hello, Chris and community. What's going on there, Goat Hard? Good to have you in there, as always. Richard Bundy says, your channel is good for the great ideas and answers. I like the moon the best, Mars second. I don't know, some people seem to love that. Moon first, I guess because it's closest to our planet, of course. Yeah, I like that. Chris, not into house yet. Yeah, we're working on it. Michelle, what's going on? He said, you got mail. I did get it. I did look at it prior to getting on. I wasn't able to download the photos because I didn't want to hang people up too much longer. But I did get the link you said, because after, I don't know if you folks have read the title here, but we got Space News, Linda Moulton Howe, and Antarctica photo, which we're going to basically do a video only in podcast style. So, which was given us from our Julia as well as Sarah, a good friend, late friend Sarah. So we're going to go over this, and we've done this photo before, but got a little bit more in depth in it. And I've had this in my Photoshop for a little bit, not that long. And I wanted to redo it and get into it a little bit more detail with it. And some of the things that you can pull out of this thing is insane. It's kind of like hey, listen, we got snow everywhere in Antarctica, and what we're going to do is we're going to really highlight this and make it look like more snow. So we'll just go ahead and put this wannabe snow over these structures and other objects. It just, oh man, when you see between the moon and you look at Mars, you can just see it. It's like, what's the point? But, well, the point is it's for basically Department of Defense, right? So it's, we get to see it very last. So military first, doctor these photos up, censor them, wash them out, do whatever you're going to do. And then we'll just pass it on to the public and let them digest it and just kind of hash it over. Again, even the last Mars video we've done, it's almost like they're putting some things in here obvious now. It's just like they're just throwing it in there, right? So I'm loving that. I wish they'd just go a little bit more. Like I said, I've always said I'd love to have somebody who is disgruntled from like NASA, JPL, or one of these other space programs that can get their hands on a photo and send it to me. And, of course, I wouldn't say a word who it was or where it's from, and keep all of that under the cuff and just pass it along. because obviously if they'd want to pass it along, they'd want me to pass it along. So that would be awesome. I'd love to be able to see a photo that's the real deal, uncensored, and then you match it with the photo that's censored. So one, you're seeing the stuff that's in the photo, which would be mind-blowing, but you're seeing the things that they've literally taken out and how they've taken it out, and you can just see the difference in the two. That would be wild. Any of you NASA disgruntled guys listening, we're here. Mimi Reacts, good to see you in there. Sean's in there. What's going on, Sean? He said, hi, y'all. MG Toe's in there. What's going on, MG Toe? Thank you very much for your support, by the way. I appreciate you. Let's see. Stefan, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Simply Steve 68, what's happening? Hey, y'all, what's going on? Just another fun day in paradise. Oh, So what we'll do is, Metalhead, what's going on? Good to see you in there as well. I'm going to just move this thing. We're going to go right down to the bottom here. Alien Tano's in there. It says, hi all. Chris is currently being assimilated by the Borg. Shh, don't tell nobody what's wrong with you. Your resistance is futile. Let's put a little echo in that. Can we do that? Your resistance, hold on. Is futile. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Damn, 68 in Buffalo. That ain't good, Pete. Third Eye Open, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. Let's see. Scott Brasek, or Brasecki, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. Chris, the face in southern Spain reminds me of this face on Mars. Yeah, wasn't there a comparison? Somebody had done a comparison about that, where they had showed that as well as the face on Mars. Mr. Jean Ward's in there. Good to see you in there, Jean Ward. Michael White, it's a beautiful day in Niagara Falls. That's a pretty area too, and it's really nice out and stuff like that. Colder weather, not so much, but it's nice to be up there. We went up that restaurant, the Needle up there, and I think rotates like once per hour, I think it is. Been some years since I've been up there, but really, really cool. Been on the Maid of the Mist and all that other good stuff. Really cool. Rico Leon Viglione, what's happening? Hello, everyone. I'm making myself part of Folgers. Best part of Folgers, or waking up, is Folgers in your cup. Metalhead says, any abductees in the Hizu or the house? Dyko Matt, what's happening? Good to see you in there. I watched a video of ex-Boeing engineer who had his back to the camera saying that Sidonia face was real and not pareidolia. Oh, I guarantee it's real. Like I said, I'd rather go by the Viking orbiter before I'd go by that pile of crap that they gave everybody, that CGI master mess, I like to call it, because they make it sound like, oh, look, no, this was all shadows and, time of day, so it was shadows and everything else, and it was not a face on Mars. And then they show you this updated years ago. They showed an updated version of this. Oh, we took another flyby. You can just see the difference between real photo and complete garbage CGI. Come on. I don't know who they're playing here, but people gobble that stuff up, please. Yeah, Michelle, I did see that. You said lots of detail, ruins and star cases, evidence, retail. Yep. The Taylor Valley. Good luck on your live air. Oh, yeah, we'll be doing that. Be checking out that photo, like I said, and some of the interesting things in there. I did get, like I said, the embattlement and stuff like that, and walls and stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Anybody who says there's nothing, and I'm saying on the surface of Antarctica, I was going to say the moon, Antarctica, when they say, oh, there's nothing there, clearly they've never done their research. It's as simple as that, right? Yes, that's what I figured. It was D, not die. Yeah. I said, that's probably D. Simply Steve, thank you. That's what I said. I'm almost positive that was what it was. Okay. Let's see. Daybreaker, what's happening? He said, Chris, I'd love to see more joint projects with you and Jean Ward. work complements each other. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the idea. He does a lot of satellite stuff, right? And even his latest one was actually pretty killer. Because when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, some of the there's no way you can have this large boulder, right? It could be a rectangular block, square block, and there's always something on top of it. It's one thing on top. It's all the time. So it makes you wonder, are these things actually structures? And I say yes. It's like when you see this stuff, you're going, okay, if I can try to mess with this photo and see if there's anything else in there. That's when I had done, like I said, he inspired me to look at one of these myself. When he had done one, I did it, and I did a whole different area, and I just couldn't believe it. I said, these things are actually being doctored up to look like just stones with another stone on top of it. But when you really jump into these photos, sometimes you can see, some people have said they've seen pathways, like when they watch Jean Ward's videos, they can see it looks like little pathways between these megalithic blocks. So are they blocks? Is it the way they built their homes? It's hard to tell, but I say no, because when I was able to go over a couple of these photos, when you can clearly see they're digitizing these things over these to make them look like square blocks. But once you burn through it, you can actually see a different shape altogether. And I don't mean burn through it like burn the photo. I mean just enough to go over it to see an actual shape of whatever this thing may be, or other details on top of these so-called blocks. So really interesting. He does a satellite, 99% of I'd say. Then he does like a 3D rendering kind of photos and stuff like that, which is cool. And then we do on the ground kind of thing. So yeah, it actually goes hand in hand, I believe, Let's see. Mick, what's going on? Gustafsson says, hi, Chris, and everyone, keep smiling. Oh, okay. He said, now the NCSI TV show Into Mars, Human Habitat in Hawaii. No doubt. I just had somebody tell me, too. They were just like, it'd be awesome if this was actually on Mars. I'm going, oh, here we go, another one. And, of course, they're talking about these things in Greenland and Iceland and everything. I just said, man, this is not a secret. Yes, they are testing. And if you watch one of these videos that actually shows this, you can see that they literally are doing that. They're testing equipment in this real harsh terrain, whether it's super windy, and I'm talking about windy here on Earth as opposed to 300-mile-an-hour winds over on Mars, where Mars 300-mile-an-hour weather with the atmosphere and everything else is literally like 30 to 50 miles an hour here. So, or would be on Earth. So there's a difference between the two. I want to make sure I back that down. I don't want it getting too raspy. I started going into the red here on the microphone. But so, yeah, I mean, we're trying, when you say that, when people go, oh, you don't understand, it's in Greenland. Oh, my God. The photos are not from Greenland. They are testing in Greenland, no doubt. But again, if you were to fake it, it's kind of like the moon, but if you were to fake it on Mars, you would make absolute sure there was nothing on or in the area that you want to take a picture of and then pass it off as Mars. It simply doesn't make sense. If you were going to do that, you'd go, okay, get the little rovers out of the way, get any of our equipment out of the way. We want to see just a mountain, and then we can fudge that. In other words, we can turn the color we want. If there's any shrubs or any kind of cactus or cacti, we'll go ahead and take that out. But let's get an area that doesn't have that, which is plenty of area to do that. So, whether it's vegetation or whatever, just get rid of it. Because some people say it's in deserts, regular deserts. No. You're going to do everything you can to make sure there's nothing there, except you can discolor and maybe put a little blur of some patchy growth in the ground, like some grass or whatever. But that's it. But when you start looking, you see these squares and these structures there, clearly this is not Earth, because they would not do that. They'd be smart enough not to do that. Oh, Jean Ward, yeah, you don't have to thank me, man. Like I said, I like watching your videos because here's the thing. When I literally sit there, and I don't know, you guys can tell me if I'm lying or not, because you guys have done this yourself, I'm sure of it. You're sitting there going, oh my God, there's no way. And you start laughing because you're going, there's no way that this is some kind of stone. And if it is, like I said, then they're actually using this, they're actually building into blocks, kind of thing, or it's some kind of like roofing. It's almost like the Flintstones, right? You get this large block, and they're living underneath it. I don't think that's the case. I think there's much more to it. And like I said, when I broke down the photo I had, or that area on that large photo, you can clearly see that there's more detail on top of these things, and they're hiding them. Why is it that every rock that we see now, and Jean Ward, you can try to answer this too. When you see a lot of these megalithic blocks, they're always super bright. Why? Is the roofs made out of gold? Possibility. Is it possible it's some kind of reflective metal? There's no reason why everything on the top of these should be white. Some of them are not. Some of them are like a gray, dullish gray. But most of them I see are like a whitish thing, and clearly these things are not white. I just don't believe that. And a lot of it, like in the Planitia area, you can just see that. You go, wait a minute, Planitia area was basically in the ocean or on the ocean front. Remember, because when you look at that, they're literally, what was it, just the latest one is now where the ocean would have been. So everything that they're next to is basically a beachfront kind of thing, where the water used to be. They're all just south and around it, southwest, southeast, and south of that whole area. All of these landers and rovers are down below this area. So, when you see that, you're going, okay, chances are, clearly these are structures, and you can just see it by breaking it down. And you don't even have to do that. There's no way that all of these blocks are going to have some kind of round thing on them or multiple round things on them. It just makes no darn sense. Mr. Mike Knapp, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Okay, Michelle. Yeah, you said just sent you close-ups of the ruins shot by the NSA chopper. Yeah, okay. So let me see here. I don't know. Let me see. There's no way I can just drag it down here, though. That's the problem. I'm on the other computer. This one here on this side is the one I need to show them because I'm just watching the chat through this computer. Yeah, some of these we've done, like let me see here. Yeah, okay. So the other one is the Taylor area. Okay. Yeah, I might be doing a video showing these shots. These are pretty cool. Yep. Because like I said, we're going to be doing more of these anyway. So, yeah, thank you for sending those to me. Let me see here. Yeah, because we are going to, she also sent me an email stating that, talking about Linda Moulton Howe. She refused to debate Sarah, then refused to debate me, and be very careful highlighting her lies, because, man, that's what she does. I tore her to pieces on our yeah, exactly. You talked about her on your thesis. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the woman in general. Don't get me wrong and twisted, because a lot of people like her. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with, though, is when you see this little bite, because somebody had done it. It was on, I have to think of it, and I'll show it to you anyway. But it's the way she comes out with these stories, and there's nothing to back it up at all. It's just, you wait until you hear this. This is just, it's funny. You can't help but to just be amused more than anything. Simply Steve, yeah. Basically, it's on a shoreline. Yep. Gold Hart, you said, I get that feeling with almost every NASA, etc. image. Yeah, pretty much. Let me do this. Durgan McDragon says, also my question is, clearly there are some aliens here around Earth. Like, what are they planning on Area 51 on extraterrestrial road? Well, we all know Area 51 is basically military craft, too, right? These are like, new craft that are coming out, being tested, the whole 9 yards. We know that. But from what we understand as well is that they have reverse technology, and we're incorporating it into our craft. So is it our craft Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Is it being put together with other alien technology? I believe they are. And it doesn't have to look like a UFO. It could just be, technology in these particular craft that look just like ours. It's ours built. So they can reverse engineer it and just put the technology into our craft, and God knows what these things would become. Probably ungodly, because these things would be amazing, right? Anti-gravitics put in there, different propulsions, different technologies to put in there. Who knows? Sky Blue, is it a coincidence between Vostok Station, Antarctica, and the early 60s Soviet spaceships, including Vostok 1, containing Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space? Well, no, it's not a coincidence. I mean, I think these things are linked, because they did say, Hitler was like just absolutely crazed about going up to Antarctica and stuff like that, want to see what's going on. So, again, there's no reason for anybody to go to Antarctica unless it's kind of like the moon. There's no reason to go up there unless you've seen something that did not belong there. So maybe at some point somebody just sailed over there and said, wow, there's something here. And then the news got around. Wow, you wouldn't believe what's up there. There's some crazy stuff. And then people would sail up there at the time, going way back now. And then as the technology became more and more, prevalent, and then it was like, okay, so why don't we do this? Satellite views. How about just simple airplane? Go up there, check it out and say, oh, wow, there is actually stuff here, right? Admiral Byrd, right? Story about him. Just crazy, crazy things that are being seen there. And there's just no reason for anybody to be up there if you're just going, oh, we're just going to do a couple core samples. Okay. Get your core samples and beat it. But yet the Army's there. Different defenses are there. They're literally digging underground. They're making military bases underground. For what reason? There's no reason to be there unless you got work there that's going to take years upon years to go over, dissect, reverse engineer. It's like a lifetime of work, because depending on how many things are there, which we have seen tons of, then it's exactly why they're there. Like I said, if I was some kind of geologist and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go up there and do some, some core samples, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be there for a while, doing some core samples, looking at different rocks and so on and so forth. They've already done it. You can do it in different areas there. That's fine too. But at some point, you're going to go, okay, well, we got what we need. Let's go. Same thing with the moon. We got our core samples. We got our sand, our gravel or whatever they got, stones, and, okay, time to go. No, that's not why they're there. Again, here's the thing. What if, before the moon, they knew these things were in Antarctica, which makes sense. It's right here on Earth. Okay, so they're seeing these things. Okay, these things clearly are ancient, high technology, something we don't have. What if, let's say there's spacecraft there too, and these guys are sitting there thinking, there's a bunch of guys there, a think tank going, what if, though, if these things are spacecraft, what about our neighbor, our own big satellite, our moon? What if there's something there? Not a bad idea. Why don't we look at it with a telescope? Oh, crap, there's stuff up there too that does not look natural. It's not a lunar hill, mound, any of that sort. It's not a crater. What could it be? Clearly they're shaped to this, and there's proof that there has been satellite photos too of the moon with structures and stuff. So one thing leads to another. They go on the moon. Wait a minute, the spacecraft up here, and what looks like, structures and everything else. Okay, so where else would be closest to Earth? Why don't we have a look at Mars? I mean, we're going back to like late 50s, 60s, where I think it was even the 40s. They were attempting to go to Mars then. Soviet Union, United States. Everybody's trying to get there. For what frickin' reason? It doesn't make any sense. So there's only one conclusion you can come up with, right? Greenleaf, can a helicopter fly at 100,000 feet? No, therefore it cannot fly on Mars. However, keep in mind, if you've done your research on this and they had a test cell for this helicopter, they could not get this thing to lift off the ground until they were able to bring this up to, I think they changed the opposing propellers where 24 to 2,800 RPMs. They could then get lift. So they simulated the atmosphere and the density of the air on Mars, and that's what they come up with. So it can fly. Here's the other thing. Let's suppose you're absolutely correct. However, is it possible that knowing that they're lying and they've got things hidden in these photos, is it possible that they're lying about the air density and quality there too? I would say overwhelming yes. Because if they're going to lie about what's on the moon, lie about what's in these photos on Mars, our own planet, so our own past, they're hiding that. Why would they not, lie about that as well? So I think the air is denser. They've known the temperature go up to like anywhere between 80 to a little over 100 degrees in the shade. Of course, this is right there, the equatorial region, summertime. And they've actually calculated and saw that temperature with the Curiosity rover. So I would say it's an overwhelming yes that they could be lying about that. But they've also, again, they had this helicopter in a test cell long before they brought it up there, and they were able to get it to fly. Like I said, it was anywhere between 24 and 2,800 RPMs, depending on the density and the time of year. Because obviously, if it's colder, denser air, summertime, not so much. So, you know what I mean? Trust me, they've done the homework on this stuff. These people are not stupid. Metalhead, you said reverse engineering takes place here at Plant 42, Lockheed, Palmdale, California. I filmed many objects around my community. That doesn't surprise me because Lockheed's into a lot of this. And I'm talking about a lot. It's even got a lot to do with these projects, whether it be rovers, landers. Oh, they got their fingers in it too. Simply Steve says, yep, lunar launch platforms posing as craters. Absolutely. Durgon McDragon says, okay, kind of depends on what technology advancements on outer world or aliens might have breakthrough on what spacecraft would be small size or large, since we don't know. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. I mean, it really does. I mean, to me, I think if we were to just think in general, a spacecraft comes here to Earth and crashes. We shoot it down, whatever it may be. Chances are it's not going to be a mothership size, right? It's going to be some kind of drone or some kind of little fighter, whatever the heck it may be. We're just throwing this out. But to me, it makes more sense that it's going to be a small craft, kind of like Independence Day. Remember they had that other spacecraft from Area 51? It would be something small like that. It wouldn't be anything large. So take these things below ground, reverse engineer them, rip them apart, and there you go. Ricardo Petraggi says the Cosmic War book is, of course, some level of high-octane speculation, as Dr. Farrell would say, but is grounded in actual facts and cited source material. Absolutely. They always say, well, these things that are like, sounds fictional or fictitious, is probably got some truth behind it. Trevor Woodley says, I told my wife last night, to your point you always make, Chris, why would they send probes and rovers to Mars and the moon just to look at rocks and sand? Same for Antarctica, as you just said. Yeah, absolutely. No, I've said this before, like a small analogy. You just move to a wooded area. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. And you see, maybe you're on a lake, beautiful house. You and the family are just chilling. One day you go out there with binoculars. I'd like to see if there's any animals out there. And you're looking around. You see the structure over there. And you go, what the heck is that? Curiosity alone is going to want to make you go over there. So you go around the lake and you go to the structure. Oh, wait a minute, it's abandoned. And you go in there, you're just curious. And you go, oh, wow, it used to be an old bunker or it used to be a military site or whatever. Your curiosity will get you. No pun intended. But it will literally... your curiosity alone would want to go over there and do that. But knowing that you're curious, and then you go, now you're looking at the moon, and you go, wait a minute, there's things on there that are clearly not natural. They're not ours. They look like they've been there for years upon years. So let's send the Apollo missions up. This is where it started. There was like Apollo 10 just orbited the moon and did not land. They were looking for landing sites for the following missions, 11 on, up to 17. So, when they get up there and they see these things, they never stopped going after these Apollo missions, 17. They kept doing it, just unofficially. So they're going to be up there now, and they're going to be tearing these things apart, and it's like a lifetime's work, and to have people go back and forth and just study these things. It's no different than what happened here on Earth probably long before they went to the moon. So now we're making another giant leap, and we're going to Mars because there's something there to see there. Like I said, if you went there yourself during these, Viking missions, the lander and the orbiter, they scoop some sand, they put it in the spectrometer, and they see, oh wow, there's building blocks of life rather, in this soil. Okay, so the first thing you do is you go, okay, you send the information back to Earth, and they go, oh wow, of course this is. I'm not sure why they did that, but okay, not a big deal. So then you say to yourself, okay, so it's debatable at this point because right now they're saying, well, we don't know if there was actual building blocks of life now. We don't have a clue. Well, they did. I mean, a lot of people argued, and they said, yeah, there was actually. So you go, okay, so they got the information they needed. We just knew there was something there. Okay, fine. You go there this time, maybe, now we can go. The other story would be you get there and there's nothing there to see. At least what they claim, there's nothing there. It's a dead planet. Okay, so now you go, okay, so there's nothing there. Quit going. What's the point? Well, we want to still see if we can find some building blocks of life. But they've already found this, and they're still using this same excuse. Even China's using this very same excuse, looking for minerals or some kind of, molecular structure. If there's any kind of growth, grass, whatever it may be, was there something like that on this planet? So they're at this, in this microscopic and macro kind of scale looking for this stuff. And in the meantime, the people are going, yeah, I'd be curious to see if they found that. But they're not scrutinizing these photos. And then when they see the photos, they're going, wait a minute, if these are structures here, then clearly there's building blocks of life, not only just organics or even insects or mammals or any of that sort, but there was literally intelligent life there. What are you handing us right now? So, yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, nobody's going to go to anywhere unless there's something that will benefit them or just simply curiosity. It's as simple as that. Thomas Tortorich, he said, I trust what you show your audience. You have no extra grind except pointing out what is legitimate. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way to go. And that's the only reason why I started doing these, Thomas, is because, like I said, I started seeing these things. I was studying these photos long before I started making videos. And then when I did, I was like, wow, this is cool. There's something in these photos that shouldn't be here. And they're hiding it. I need to start showing people. There you go. It's just that simple. And like I said, I've seen a couple of other my friends doing it. I said, heck yeah, I'm going to do it. So that's how I started off. Alusto, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, hello, everyone. Daybreaker, he said that life is the rule, not the exception. Yeah, there you go, Ricardo. Science faction. Fact-based fiction. Pretty much. Mauricio Rocha, what's happening? He said, hi from Brazil. Hugs. What's going on, Mauricio? Good to see you in there. Durgan McDragon says, isn't there actual incident today to where we're back to Roswell incident, but in today around the world may be possible as many incidents behind UFOs? Well, and I think it's because, like I said, everybody's got cameras now. So there's a lot more, sightings and stuff like that, which is cool. Cameron, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, how are you, Chris, today? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. A fine day here. At least here it is. Finally. Tam T Girl, what's going on? Yeah, it's been a long time. Where you been? Good to see you in there. He said, hi, everyone. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. by Jamie Hillier Rubis. Love. Oh, yeah. Trevor Woodley says, feels like old times on MAAB. No doubt. No doubt. It's good to have everybody in there. Again, we got everybody in the room. Everybody's just like talking with each other. We're throwing some stuff around here. Let's go into this here. Let me see. I like this. This is basically, it's a concept of one of these rovers they may actually put on Mars. Now, obviously, this is not the one. Io de Plurina, I guess it's NASA Io de Plurina, I guess it's how it's pronounced. But meet the Mars Exploration Rover. Now, this is pretty neat in a sense because, you know, although a rover would get around faster, but this thing can literally walk up hills and everything else, provided it's not quicksand and the thing sinks into the ground. Because it looks like it's got claws more than it has like a netting, like almost like a snowshoe, right? In other words, you wanted this thing to stay above that kind of stuff. So the way I made this larger, you really can't see the words too well, but it says Science Instruments Panorama Camera, Miniature Thermo Emission Spectrometer. I don't know what it's saying here. Moss spectrometer, alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, microscopic imager, rock abrasion tool, which a lot of the rovers had. It was called the RAT. It was a rock abrasion tool, and magnet arrays. So power, solar panel array, and lithium battery system, right? Really neat looking little robot type thing. Pretty sweet. So rover, as they call it. It's based on the Mars Exploration Rover platform. Rover Geological Laboratory. The rover geologist. Loaded with instruments designed to up-close study the red planet's rocks. Well, isn't that what the rover's doing right now? I'm confused. But really, really cool looking, right? Yeah, exactly, Durgan. Yeah, you said, looks like straight out of the, looking like a robot, a bug, pretty much. But like I said, I don't see how that concept can, not with the little feet, the end of the feet, where it looks like it's got claws more than something that's a flat pad, so it doesn't sink into anything. I mean, obviously you need grip, which makes sense. The rovers are no different. You can see on the wheels they got these treads literally sticking out of there, basically mini plates sticking out as tread. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, Tammy Gray said, moved off the mountain. Oh, okay. Hope you moved into a nice place. Good luck with it. Let's see. Doesn't it, Ricardo? He said, that looks like a Boston Dynamic Robot Dog. Yeah, I mean, the way they got those things, really, really cool. But it was just a question of time. I think I said this a long time ago. It's a question of time when they either have something like you're saying, like the robot dog or something along them lines to walk on Mars or the moon or whatever. But there is a lot of soft sand on Mars, so somehow I don't think those little feet, the little claws at the end is going to be worth a diddly, as they say. Let me see here. Let's make sure this one's on. It is. Because I'm going to let you folks hit this little bite. I'm going to move on to Linda Moulton Howe. Because I think it's funny that, let me get this one over here. It says, truth of our history. Dun, dun, dun. And of course, this is on a TikTok. You can see that. But she's talking about how the person is speaking to her. It says, Linda, our government has proof. Now, get this. I'm going to go ahead and play this. And let's see what we can do here. We'll see if the audio is working.
And our government has proof that three competing extraterrestrial civilizations have been using this planet as a laboratory for genetic manipulation for at least 270 million years.
Okay, so first of all, I got to stop her right there. Competing for what? Anybody have an idea? What the hell are we competing for? So she doesn't answer that question, but you'll see there's a reason why they may be doing it, but I still don't understand the competing part. So let's just play on here.
I asked him what the proof was. He said it would be too dangerous for me to tell you.
Again, Let me get a drink here. So, never any proof. She said, we have proof. Well, he said it would be too dangerous for me to tell you. Wait a minute. You know, so even if he was to tell her and then say, put it in your own words, that would make more sense, right? But, you know, well, you know, it'd be too dangerous for me. There's always something comes up that, oh, you know, it'd be too dangerous. Or he wouldn't tell me, it was too top secret. Or it's this. It's always this BS. Yeah, exactly. Simply Steve, keep the source mysterious. I love the ones that go, yeah, so it was Hangout, you know, Area 51 years ago. It's like, oh, please stop the bullshit here.
And I said, well, 270 million years is before the time of the dinosaurs.
Now get this, you'll love this.
He looked me straight in the eye, and he said, one of the three competing groups made the dinosaurs.
Does anybody get that? Does that make any sense to anybody? They made the dinosaurs for what frickin' reason? So they're competing to make people, I guess, and you can listen on in a moment here. So let's make dinosaurs first and let them eat cavemen, which will eventually become people. Oh my God, you can't help but to laugh. Yeah, exactly, Daybreaker. Chris, we all need a drink to swallow what she is saying. Yeah, I mean, come on, listen to this crap. This is listen. I like her as a person, but as far as the stories, BS. Again, you got to stay relevant. So let's keep adding to the mystery, the mystery, the mystery. Give me a break already. Give me a break. Phil C., what's going on? Good to have you in there. He said, hello, everybody. Just got the notification, but made it. Good to have you in there, Phil, as always. Goat Howe, you said, I like her actually, but she's always comes with reliable sources that she cannot name. Exactly. Well, that's the mystery of it. So any one of us, including any one of you, myself, I can say, you know what? I interviewed this guy the other day, right? He was telling me that he took me down into this, well, he told me that he was going to take me down to this like lower level in the Earth's crust, and there's a huge city there, folks, and I can tell you right now, it's amazing. It's so futuristic. Nothing like you would ever believe, blah, 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 blah. Show us the source. I can't. They told me I'd probably get killed and my family would too. There's never any proof, slightest proof given at all. You know, show me a piece of metal or something that doesn't exist. Show me a piece of, you know, technology that doesn't exist. Even a piece of alloy that we currently don't have here on Earth. It could be that simple. You don't have to give away names. You don't have to give away anything. How about some technology? And I mean worthless technology. In other words, it's not something that's going to blow the planet up. Something that you can go, well, this is something they got. You know, they call it something different. We call it a cell phone. They call it a clickmar. I mean, anything. Give us something. Throw us a frickin' bone, for Christ's sakes. And nothing, ever. Yeah, Ricardo, yeah, someone has been reading too much H.G. Wells, and Wells' Earth is the island of Dr. Moreau. Yes, exactly. Marisa, you said, always watch Lindy. Like I said, I don't mind her. It's just that she's never anything of slightest evidence. Never. Let's go on.
As an 80 million plus year long experiment. And he said the part that bothers us.
You get this.
We think it was the Ebens, the ones with the heads that are shaped like this and pear-shaped chin. Not this, but more this. He said, the Ebens have demonstrated for us, meaning humans, in DIA, CIA, NSA, military, and intel, that they can move matter in this universe into another dimension or another timeline. And they do it all of the time. He said 66 million years ago, something was headed for the Linda.
And that's pretty much the actual, small part of the video. But like I said, every time you hear something, it's always vague. She'll come out, yeah, well, I mean, if you have any science friends at all, you know, I mean, like astrophysics kind of thing, right? And they can tell you about, you know, different galaxies and whatever, give you some space information. You can make this crap up yourself. Yeah, they said they can move matter into other dimensions and they can do this, whatever. You know, it just makes no sense. Because every time you listen, it's like there's always, it's crap. You know, it's like a book that, you know, it's fictional. That's all it is. It's just fictional crap. I remember one time she went to a guy's, it was a ranch or something, and it wasn't like you guys were saying earlier, Skinwalker. But what was funny is that she went there, and of course you can see his face is blurred and everything. He's got his voice changed, and you know, talking about how we went into Antarctica and looked underneath the earth, underneath the ground, and just show us some proof. How about a real photo of just something simple down there? It doesn't even have to be a whole structure, a whole city. It doesn't have to be any of that. Something simple. Like I said, give them a piece of alloy. Say, listen, I can prove that it's real. Look, this alloy has been studied, and here is the actual, analysis that was done to the steel from a reputable place saying this does not exist here on Earth. Then you go, okay, there's actually some kind of proof that maybe this is real. Not one bit. How do you believe her? Russell Rumig. He said, you know, she really wants to say, hail Zeno. Being vague, Usher specialty is her, yep. Durgan, you said, why NASA forgot to add additional wipers to the rovers who actually can't charge solar batteries, which would put many energies. Well, they had what they call a static discharge, right, on these solar panels. So when they hit this, it would literally blow off this fine dust. It would be like a electric field over the solar panels. That's what it was designed to do. You would think it'd be that easy. Just put a simple like a windshield wiper. But I don't mean something that does this, but just something that goes. It like squeegees one from end back to the other, just takes it from one side, just blows it off the other side. Or how about just a simple air pump? It builds up air and just hits it with air and blows it off. I'm sure it's possible. This is the reason why I believe some of these rovers are still alive. And they're just saying, the government doesn't need to know any more about these. Just go ahead and be done with it. So it just makes more sense, right? I'm sure there's, as smart as these people are, they can figure out how to put something on, on these rovers that can actually clean it off. Just, I don't know. Mimi reacts. She said, yeah, like a clickbait. Yeah. Yep. Metalhead, no receipts. No, not credible. Like I said, give us something. Because then, listen, how many of you folks, I mean, a lot of you people like to watch her. I get that. I don't even mind watching her. Here's the thing. Again, every single time, not a shred of proof anywhere. If she was to show, again, like metal, like they did with Area 51 when they had that supposed, down craft, what they do, they had a piece of metal that had some kind of writing on it, probably in their language, whatever. And I think they said it was some kind of weird alloy as well, real lightweight but very strong. If she, even just something as simple as that, piece of metal, look, I mean, and we had this actually analyzed and shows the proof of this and says, listen, this is not of this earth. Fine. At least it's got something to support the story. Never, ever. Any one of us can make the same stories up. Renee V, what's going on? Good to see you there. He said, hello, Chris and gang. I hope you're doing well there, Renee. Whitebeard Sky Daddy. He said, whoop. Made it for a bit. Yeah, I think you said something about you were going to try to get on there. So I appreciate you stopping in there, Whitebeard Sky Daddy. I do. Good to see you in there. Yeah, exactly. Russell, he says, Zenu is the scientific deity If no one knows that, Xenu brought souls to Earth millions of years ago. Yeah, but wasn't it supposed to be like everybody was supposed to be punished? They were actually brought here to basically live out the rest of their lives or die here, whatever. Because it was people that were, it's basically like a prison planet, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yep, Simply Steve, you said air hose to blow it off. It's that simple. It's really, I mean, all you need is a simple small pump with like a couple nozzles just facing off. Even if you can blow off some of the dust, at least you can still get some power into the batteries, right? But the guys never thought about that. You know, the smartest people on the planet. Windshield wiper? Anyone? Air blast? Nothing? Nothing. That's why I believe they did do that, because they think about it. Listen, these guys are thinking, going, well, wait a minute, there's windstorms. We have solar panel. Let's see, dust, solar panel. Not going to jive. It's like mud and water. Well, dirt and water, making mud. It's just, the fact that it would escape them and they never put any thought into that, I don't believe that. I'm pretty sure they have a way to get these things out. Alien Tanner, you said her bedtime stories would freak the kids out. Yeah, pretty much, right? Mr. Taff what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, hi, Chris and crowd. I hope you're doing well there, Taff. Been a while since I've seen you in there and talked to you. White Beard Sky Daddy said, the efforts of NASA and a recon of artifacts and technology, not looking for microbes. Exactly. Now, is it possible looking for them now? Meaning, is there any life at all? Or is there something still living on the planet? And like I said, we've looked at this many times where we look like we see motion blur things in the sky. Something swarming the helicopter, the Ingenuity. We know there's something living on and flying in the air in Mars. You can just see it in that video I have. So, and again, they say, well, it's a micron of dust. Okay, like I said, I'll go with that. If there's about 1,000 of them just being tossed up by the blades near the camera, it's only one. And it's higher than the helicopter because the shadow is not clear at all. It's basically just like a blur shadow as opposed to a very sharp shadow. So, you know, I'll go with the idea of the dust. Don't have a problem with it because you would think there'd be plenty of it being kicked up by the helicopter. Yet there's only 1 micron of all the dust particles on the ground, just the one, flying around. You can see it coming into the frame, back out of the frame, coming around it, going in different directions. It's like it's following this thing. Makes no sense. Daybreaker, you taking off? He said, Chris, thank you for all your hard work. Good night, everyone. I appreciate it there, Daybreaker, and thanks for being here and chatting it up at least a little bit here. Ricardo, you said, I think she has controlled opposition in the similar manner to how Luis Elizondo is there to, as a limited hangout. It's great theater. Pretty much. That sums it up. He's another one, Elizondo. It's like, so the Pentagon's I'm going to be their mouthpiece. So, so I'm going to tell you that it's real and everything. I'm not going to give you a shred of proof. I'm just going to say, look, these are videos. And again, the videos are always trash. Night vision, infrared, dark, whatever. And the military just can't seem to get a good photo during the day. I don't care if it's dusk or dawn. It's still, but you'll never, ever see this. So this fake invasion, I think, is actually happening now. When they claim, I think there's going to be a fake invasion to freak the people out. It's not freaking anybody out. They're going, wow, that's interesting. Now, again, if we had something like Independence Day, and let's say we were here and somehow this craft was over one of the countries and blew it to hell, we may be in fear. We may want to say goodbye to our loved ones. That makes sense. That's an actual, like I said, it's Independence Day. It's literally coming here to basically exterminate everything on the planet. So, like War of the Worlds, right? Of course, it didn't end well for them. But this is the reason why I keep saying, everybody keeps, oh, no, you don't understand. If we ever had, you hear some of these scientists, and if we ever had aliens come here, they would decimate us and, kill us off. You don't know that. You don't know that at all. Maybe they're more afraid of us because they've surpassed this BS that we're going through as right now, because they would have never lasted in order to have the technology they do. So at some point, they would have killed themselves off, or their civilization would have imploded. because, again, killing themselves off or whatever. But they surpass that. Monetary BS, technologically advanced, go over their skirmishes as far as wars and everything else. So, again, leaps and bounds ahead of us. So they come to this planet and go, oh, my God, these people are just like the way we were millions of years ago. Why the hell would we want to have any of these barbaric, chimpanzees on this planet? Why would we want anything to do with them? It's crazy. Maybe someday they'll be ready. And that's what I think. Now, they will be here to observe us, do different things. We heard stories about how they would go to these military bases and basically shut down the base. These missiles in the silos, shut them down. We heard all about that. So what are they trying to tell us? If they wanted to annihilate this planet, they would have done it a long time ago. If you can neutralize a warhead, you can sure in hell set it off. Imagine how many, warheads could go off. Let's say they're smart enough to go, hey, you know what? Let them launch it. In fact, why don't we do this? Why don't we launch it? We'll override their systems, launch it ourselves, and when it's right in midair, low altitude, set them off. We'll decimate the planet with our own weapons. They could do this so easy, folks. Come on. So when they put this fear-mongering BS into people's minds, I don't believe that for a moment. Sharpie, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Renee V, thank you very much. You said my number one channel, Mars Anomalies and Beyond. Hit the thumbs up, people. Nail that bad boy. Sharpie says, been busy. God save the king stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Goat High, you said only some stupid hooligans would believe aliens would come here and start a conventional war. Again, they wanted to kill us if they can use our own weapons. They don't even have to use their own. Or they can introduce something that's, some kind of disease or something that they have on their planet into ours, and our anatomy couldn't take it. It just, the body couldn't function or whatever. Kill everyone on the planet. They could do it like this. Come on. If they get the technology to come here, let's suppose they're not inside our planet, they're not on the planet, they're exoplanet. If they wanted to decimate the planet, they could do that with ease. But most people go, well, you don't understand, they would kill us all. Okay, for what reason? If they got their own planet and we're not harming their planet, there's no reason to do that. Secondly, what makes you think they want this planet? How do you know they can breathe the oxygen in the atmosphere we have? We don't know that. We make assumptions. Drake 128. He says, like jumping into a baboon pen at the zoo. Dangerous and not worth it. There you go. Enrico Viglione says, hello, what's going on? Dico May. I'll say it right this time, I promise. What's that? Oh. David, you said, hope you got the pictures, Chris, I sent you through Twitter. I'll have to look at them, to be honest with you. I haven't been on Twitter, so I'm, just being honest with you. But I will check that out. I appreciate you sending them. Oh, how come? What happened, Sharpie? No wine for me tonight. No wine tonight for me. Alien Tennis, the problem with alien disclosure is religion is blown away. Well, it kind of is anyway, if you really think about it, because if there's life anywhere else besides planet Earth, our moon, Mars, and probably pretty much everywhere in the universe and then some, yeah. So, yeah, you get the idea. Bush Corey, what's going on? Gaz. Hi, Chris and gang. Hope you're all well. We are well. Good to see you there, Corey. Thank you, Mr. Whitebeard Sky Daddy. I do appreciate your support, as always. He said there's a biosphere on Mars, complete with flora and fauna, joy fruits, water, and some sort of air, regardless of what oxygen content. Chris, what if many UFOs, UAPs are ancient tech, but online back in the midst of antiquity? Midst of antiquity. Well, that's a good question. I guess they could be, right? Yeah, let's suppose it is something. Well, if I'm getting your question correct, if they are ancient, they would still probably be years ahead of us, right? You would think. Because let's say it's something we look at it and we go, oh my God, we could so build this. In other words, it's not technology. It's like out of our fingertips. We have the technology to build what they've got. That would be interesting. But then let's suppose it was a UFO that came from their planet at one point and it crashed here. Like you said, now it's from antiquity. But now, what would their civilization look like now? What kind of technology would they have? That would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely spot on when you think, when you're saying there's a biosphere on Mars. I absolutely believe that. If you go to Gale Crater again, there's water there, there's air, meaning oxygen. Yes, there is carbon there, of course, but there's life on that planet as we speak. In one form or another, there's life. It's more than just micro or macro. I believe this, again, that flying thing that was around the Ingenuity helicopter. And I believe there's much more. I believe there's organics. I believe it's all of that. Again, Whitebeard's guy, Daddy, thank you. Appreciate you. Mr. Ricardo Petrazzi as well. Thank you, sir, for your support as always. So loving the divergence of topics tonight. Mars, Mars, Mars. That's all we talk about. Thanks for having me on last week, even though it didn't pan out as expected. Oh, we're definitely going to get back into that. In fact, we'll probably use a Skype this time. I used it last time, had no issues with it at all. So maybe we can set that up again real soon. Divergence of topics. Is that a little sarcasm? Okay, so we'll break this up a little bit. How about this? How about a nice 74 Vega Cosworth? Actually, no, this was not a Cosworth. This is a Yanko with a much more modern power plant. Yes, this is at a car show before I even came home. I took a quick look in here. Plus, I did blow it up on the screen, so it kind of looks more grainy than anything. But, yeah. Still GM muscle no matter what. Pretty sweet, right? 66 Chevelle. Pretty sweet. Now, back to Mars. Told you we can do more than that. Yeah, we can take care of that. Ooh, hot rods. I like that. Let's... I think this is the one that had the 327, if I wasn't mistaken. They got a Nissan. And I said, oh, this is pretty sweet. Bronco, too. Oh, that was a full-size Bronco, rather. Yeah, we just took a couple quick videos. Had some Roadsters there and Fairlanes and Galaxies and stuff like that there. How fitting. So, yep. No, keep the cars. Yeah, I knew you guys would appeal to that. Listen, I wasn't even going to stop at this thing. I was just like, listen, it's not far from my house. Let's just go ahead and check it out. And I think it was the same people that were in another car show that was near my job. And I come back because we left, got out of work, came back. And I said, man, we got like an hour left before this place closes. All the cars leave, right? We get there's one car there. Everybody else left. I went, what happened to the 5 o'clock thing, guys? They took off. I guess they pretty much have everybody come through and it just thinned out the crowd after that at that point, right? Again, thank you, Mr. Ricardo and Mr. Skybeard, Whitebeard, Sky Daddy. I said Skybeard. Well, that's pretty different. Skybeard. Oh, anyway, appreciate you folks. Always appreciate it. Enrico said, I body checked the thumbs up button because the channel makes a big impact. Bam. Dropping it. Bushcore, I don't know what it is. It says still notifications again. So if you guys go to the community tab in my home channel, right? I'm going to try to tell you whether there's going to be probably a day or two before if there's going to be a hangout. So in other words, let's say I decide to do it on a Friday. It'll be on a Thursday. Just check the community tab and then you'll know. You guys will be up to par because that's been happening a lot where, and Everybody's going, I'm not getting any notification. What's the deal here? I know. It's crazy. Ali Khan says, Linda is a starseed. She's definitely something. Like me. Yeah, I mean, if you just popped in the Ali Khan, yeah, we were just talking about this, and I don't know if you've seen this whole video, but I like Linda. The problem with her is that there's never any proof ever. And like I said, as many people she's talked to, especially on Antarctica, she's talking about, to these people who's got their voices, their faces changed, everything else blurred out. I said, how about a piece of alloy steel? Something that just, it's been, sent to a processing place or whatever, and just said, hey, let's analyze this material. It's nothing of Earth. It maybe corroborate some of her story, maybe support it a little bit. Never, ever any kind of, proof. So, again, these people have to stay relevant. So there's always an evolving story or another story coming up. And it's always like that with these people. So if she would just say, just picture this a moment. Let's suppose she keeps telling the same story over and over and over again. Nothing ever new. You just go, oh, okay, I heard this BS before. I'm next. I'm just going to go ahead and just drop. She'll drop in popularity like a rock, and that's the end of her. Can't sell books. Can't go to these buildings and, speak at any kind of forum or, whether it be some kind of get-together and a bunch of people are there. You never see, she will never be in there. She'll literally drop out. Can't have that. So what do? Keep up with new stories. And like I said, anybody here with a halfway, secret, well, not a secret, but a good science mind and some, common sense and really smart and intelligent can go, I can make this crap up all day long. Who's going to say otherwise? Does everybody follow her around everywhere she goes to confirm this stuff? Doubt it. Now, I'm not saying there's no truth, there's zero proof, but she never has anything that can make you snap your teeth and do it and say, oh, wow, and she is 100% legit. Never. Simply Steve, LOL, cars on Mars. We can do that. Ricardo said, funny enough, James Cragen said he wasn't getting the notifications either. I suggested unsubbing and then resubbing and ensuring all notifications enabled again. Well, that's what I tell people too. If, just unsub, sub back again, and then hit that, what do you call it, that bell and say, it just says all, notify all. So you'll be notified of anything, whether it's videos or, Hangout, podcast, whatever. MG Toya said she's pulling a con on people. Well, again, you'd like to believe what she's saying is true. Now, is there any kind of truth to it? Maybe there's some minuscule truth to it. I mean, but it's always secret people. There's always, and I get that, because some people will be killed off if they divulge this information. If they would do, and I understand if, let's say they gave her some information that shouldn't be leaked out, and she got it, and they killed her off, and then said, by the way, before we kill you off, who's the one who told you? I'm not taking it. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to take it to the grave. That's fine. First of all, we'll dump your family in a shredder, and then you'll speak, and then we'll go ahead and kill you anyway. So either way, I kind of get the secretism to a certain degree. Or you got it, like I said, it could be something minuscule, nothing that's technology other than maybe something like a piece of steel. Anything. Nothing. Zero. Nada. Les Sweet, what's going on? Good to see you in there as well. You said Art Bell supposedly gave Linda parts supposed alien artifacts. Yeah, but you think she'd be like showing this stuff. I'm not going to tell you where I got it from, but here it is. And it's been, again, analyzed by this certain group. It's known not to have any kind of metals like this here on Earth. There is some that are similarities to what we have here on Earth, but it is not of Earth origin, and states that. You'd go, wow, that's incredible. At least it gives some kind of, vetting to her stories, right? TMT Girlie said, I have never even heard of her. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's It's like a nice, what's the word we're looking for? Sci-fi teller. Oh. Ricardo, he said, I have noticed, though, that YouTube community posts do not come through on Android tablets or mobiles, even if you are subbed to the channel with all notifications. I know, which is really weird. Is it something they're doing on their end, or you think they'd have it corrected, like you're saying, whether it be the Android stuff? So if it's for iPhones and stuff like that, the iOS, fine. But make it for everything, for every platform, right? That doesn't make any sense. But you know how that goes. Goat Hot, you said, Linda seems to believe what she's saying and still believe that there is, or at least was, some truth to it. Like I said, she got kind of lost on her way. Ricardo, you may have not lived my truth or lived experience. Okay, so I love this article. A stormy active sun may have kick-started life on Earth. The first building understand? Oh, the first building blocks of life on Earth may have been formed thanks to eruptions from our sun. A new study finds. Now, obviously, the sun does have everything. It has everything to do with Earth. The magnetic field, the way it messes with that, and life on the planet without the sun. Obviously, nothing lives. I get all that. A series of chemical experiments show how solar particles colliding with gases in Earth's early atmosphere can form amino acids and carboxylic acids, the basic building blocks of proteins and organic life. The findings were published in the journal Life. To understand the origins of life, many scientists try to explain how amino acids work. Well, amino acids, the raw materials from which proteins and all cellular life were formed. The best-known proposal originated in the late 1800s as scientists speculated that life might have begun in a warm little pond, a soup of chemicals energized by lightning, heat, and other energy sources that could mix together in concentrated amounts to form organic molecules. Now, I get that. That makes sense. But I also believe that's not where we came from, although I believe a lot of the animals may have come from there. And like we have stories from ancient people saying that, we were Neanderthals and we were basically, our brains were modified, so to speak. Our DNA had been changed. So we have become what we are today, much more intelligent than our real ancient people, where you're like, and throwing rocks together and stuff like that. Big difference. Or, they'll say, well, we came from the ape, chimpanzee, whatever, that's cute and all. But the thing is, it's like, why haven't they evolved as well? You think they'd be up there by now. How long has the human being been around, and how long has, primates been around? Durgon, you said, I think that makes sense. Why not add 3 to 5 rovers, like a group of scientific rovers being, before knowing like complete full circle, and it might have the more work, the more you get science points. Well, true. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, wow, it has become quite a task to process all of the highly intelligent comments and questions here. If we are a cross-section of the world population, it's freaking time for full disclosure. Exactly. I should have super chatted the last comment. There you go. Trevor Woodley said, I remember a story where there was an aluminum alloy found that was thought to be impossible. And it might have been from Area 51 crash, right? Or the Roswell. I'm thinking Area 51. I still got that in my head. Roswell crash, right? Because they did find, I think it was that where they found like that piece of metal and it had this weird writing on it. But some of the metals will be something we know about, but it's not. It's like a lot of this material we can't find it on Earth. Yeah, there you go. Let me guess. War of the Worlds? Ricardo? No one could have dreamed we were being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Whitebeard's Guy Daddy said, I'll super chat this other idea. Even if there's life on TRAPPIST-1, we probably can't detect it. That's what I find interesting. You know, they can detect gases from, like, God knows how far, millions of years away, but wait a minute. If we ever find life on other planets, it is unlikely to be a powerful message. It's unlikely, of course, to be a powerful message from space. It's certainly possible that an alien civilization specifically sends us a radio message, like the scene out of Contact, but the more likely scenario is that we observe some kind of biological signature in the exoplanet's atmosphere, such as oxygen or chlorophyll. But as a recent study released on ARX, I'm not sure, preprint server shows, that could be more difficult than we thought. There's a reason to be hopeful. It says we are already able to image some exoplanets directly and have detected molecules such as water in their atmospheres. The planets we've directly observed are all gas giants, though. We can't image Earth-sized planets in the star's habitable zone yet, but there is a trick we can use to study their atmospheres. Okay, yeah, Simply Stevie said, yes, a melted piece of metal that had layers in it. Yep. Marco Besto, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Evening all. If and when disclosure takes place, we will be told the truth and how much of it. Will we be told the truth? Or will this be yet another matrix of deception? Unfortunately, probably so. Long Island, New York, 1395, what's up? So what's up, all? Never got the notification for the stream. I know. You gotta love it. Cameron said, good stream as always, Chris. Keep doing what you're doing, Chris. Have a good rest of the weekend. I appreciate it there, Cameron. Thanks for being here and chatting a little bit in there, jumping in there a little bit. You have yourself a good weekend then as well there, right? Sharpie said, Chris, all the radio waves we send out must be a bright light to intelligent beings, so that is why we are seeing more UFOs. Well, I mean, if you think about it, these civilizations have probably been around for millions of years, right? And I mean millions. So since the dawn of time, since we started, what? This goes back 1800s? Trying to remember exactly when, well, it doesn't have to be exact, but when, 1800s, whatever, we started sending out radio signals, even simple ones, you know what I mean? Like Marconi and all of these people had come up with, transmit and everything else. Nikola Tesla, people like that. So receiving, transmitting, most of them on 2-meter frequencies and stuff like that. And then, of course, shortwave around the world. So, if anything, if our radio waves are going out into space, theirs would be too. Again, it may be a language we wouldn't even have a clue how to even decipher, but we'd be able to find it. I almost promise you that, and I'm sure they have. White Bear Sky Daddy, all right. This is definitely, super chat. Thank you very much for your support, as always. My first mentioned Joy Foods. Okay, super chat mentioned Joy Foods. Joe White went deep and close on the large fields of massive godlike fauna, some kilometers long, probably highly responsible for seasonal methane spikes largely. Now, see, I did the same one. Again, Whitebeard Sky Daddy, thank you. I appreciate it. I also did that too. I wasn't sure if that was actually real. And the reason why I say that is because when I went into it, and I don't know if you've seen the video I did, when you go into a lot smaller, these areas a lot smaller, there was actually structures. You can see some of them peeking out of the censoring. There were structures there. So I'm wondering if that was any kind of a joy fruit at all, but giant structures, like dome structures, and they're made to look like something else, like a joy fruit, like you're saying, right? I wonder if it was that, because if you look at some of them, like the video I did, and you can look up, I think it says Mars Joy Fruit or something like that, Joy Fruit, and where I analyze it, you can see what looks like giant openings at the base of these things. So if you're looking at it from, let's say you're looking at it on the screen, right down on the bottom of each of them, one was like a little bit, not quite like at 6 o'clock position, but it was somewhere around there. They had like giant openings. I think they were giant domed areas. And maybe it's some kind of food catch, meaning, or they put their food, I don't know. But it seemed like it was a little different. It's almost like, look at the elephant in the room, don't worry about anything else in this picture. Hello, look at this. But yet there's a whole lot more on and around those areas, right? It was still, regardless of that, it was still amazing to see something like that on the surface. But nothing, almost nothing is what it seems in these photos. And then, like I said, that last video I just did, well, look at that bright area up in the sky. Wait a minute, why is it so dark in the background if this supposed sun is just glaring all over the place? Which I don't believe that's the case. Because, again, you had the arm to the rover, and, of course, you can see it coming down to the tool head and everything else. You got the turret, and then you got the actual tool head. And you can see the actual rays of sunshine where the shadow should be, which made zero sense. So this was something they put in there to make you go, they're trying to make it look like, well, there should be shadows here, and there because of this sunlight. No, it's all wrong when you look at this thing. It's really crazy how they've done that. Dan Caprilis, he said, Martian Sasquatch, pardon my French. You were saying something about, has anybody found it yet? I haven't found anything like that. Now, there was a statue where it looked like a humanoid kind of walking, but it was not actually walking. At least it was a still picture, so nobody knew. But there was something that looked like that. It's like his arms, it was in a stride like it was walking. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's the way it looked. Yeah, everything has a frequency, right, Ricardo? It could be anything from pulsars out in space and stuff like that. Everything's got its own sounds and frequencies, right? Because you're saying here, every time lightning strikes in our atmosphere, it creates a radio wave emissions, which goes into space. Now, they know what a frequency or sound from each planet. Remember, you ever see that video where it has like different sounds from every planet in our solar system, which they are familiar with. They're also familiar with these, frequencies they get from these planets and pulsars and nebulas and everything else. So they know all that. But when they get to an area where they go, okay, this is a repeating signal, kind of like an FRB. But some of these FRBs, these fast radio bursts, are, again, milliseconds. And they usually, as a rule, don't repeat themselves. Well, this one has many, many times. So now they're getting this, and remember we were talking about this last Hangout podcast, where these things were, it's like it's in the C-band frequencies now, higher. Instead of 400 megahertz, it's way up until like 4 gigs to like 8 gigs. So, which is in our C-band frequency range. So now they're kind of going, okay, and it's repeating. So is it some kind of beacon? Is it something that's just normal they send out on their, and they're not sending it out for us, I'm sure of it, but maybe it's something that's just going on in their planet, and we're just picking up on it, kind of like they would do with us. Or are they actually doing that as a beacon to go, hey, we're here? Anybody hear us at some point? Because think about how vast the universe is, right? So it would take quite a long time to find a signal, 1, and 2, to have it repeating, and 3, try to figure out what it is, kind of like, again, kind of like Contact, where they had the signal come in, and it was about Hitler, and they were feeding it back to us in higher amplification, and then, of course, there was subcarriers, and then they found that, remember the guy called it like, well, how do we know it's not a Trojan horse, and these aliens come out and kill us all? But it was like basically blueprints to build this machine. So I think they would know the difference, and I think, I'm almost positive they've probably gotten signals from other planets at one point. Like I said, there was that story where they said they've gotten some kind of signal saying, oh yeah, we're dying here or something like that. There's some kind of like SOS signal. They were like, save us and all this other stuff. We did it to ourselves, blah, 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 blah. And then it went dead. This could be purely speculation. It could be purely, sci-fi, so to speak. But I heard about that story some years back. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. So was that Steve F? Ron, what's going on? Good to have you in there. And thank you very much for your support. Always, appreciate it. We got a hippo there. Knockout. Bam. These things come up with all crazy stickers. It's wild. If anybody can find one that has like the rover actually roving, that'd be pretty cool. Again, I appreciate it. That is awesome. Simply Steve, CQ. Yes, absolutely. CQDX, are you out there? Yeah, I mean, from how long it would be transmitting in some way of, a form or whatever. And like I said, even if we could, get a signal, would we understand their language? Would it be just like what we have? Chances are probably not. Wild Mountain Bear, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Speaking of Hangout, let's go hang out at Sharpie says 50 rubles. Okay, gotcha. Simply Steve, is that where you saw it? Or is that the one I'm talking about? It said, yep, in the Inquirer in 1980. I don't remember if it might have been that far back. Trevor Woodley said, how would they have translated that message? Are we talking about like a hypothetical, if they actually found a signal from somebody else and they were speaking a different language? I don't think, if that's what you're saying, I don't think that they could, unless it was very similar to a different language here, or a similar language here, rather, here on Earth. Now, maybe they'd be able to put some languages together and break it down. Like people say, okay, let's say it's a certain language of these people here on Earth. Okay. No, it's not that at all. It's something on this language. Okay, so get these people together and they're like working together to try to translate it. If not, if it's something totally different, then they would probably analyze the signal itself, signal strength, where it came from, and by the signal getting here, how long did it take to get here? If they could bounce it back, how long would it take? So on and so forth, and they can triangulate pretty much where this thing's actually coming from. So they can at least do that, right? Durgon, you said, I think somewhere in some transit way to send probes to TRAPPIST-1 and probably rovers or whatever boat like small, if they could detect water, then we can send underwater probe. Well, that's what they're trying to do, right? A lot of these, a lot of space agencies, but more NASA than anybody. They want to send, NASA's probably trying to send, well, they're not trying to, they're going to have that little submarine. It's going to be going to, I think, one of the moons. We got the rovers already on the moon, we had with people, of course, and then we had Mars. Yeah, again, if you found life or technology on our planet, Antarctica, and then you went, okay, so again, technology we didn't have, this was not ours, so chances that was from somewhere else. So what about closer bodies to our Earth? Well, first place is moon. Well, we found something there. So it looks like these spacecraft, I'm using hypotheticals here, the spacecraft clearly didn't just go back and forth to Earth. This thing's bigger or whatever, and it looks like it's capable of flying everywhere, meaning outside our solar system and everything else. What about on Mars? It was just like Earth at one time, basically the sister to Earth, so why not? Makes perfect sense. So on and so forth. So you're pretty much learning your neighborhood and then some, right? So, yeah, I mean, one planet at a time or one moon at a time. Raul Horaeus, you said it mathematically. Yes, if it's a mathematical signal rather. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Trevor. Okay, I got you. You said yeah, Chris. You said that they received an SOS. That's what I meant. Okay, gotcha. Oh, Steph, he said around $10 US. That's fine. I appreciate it, man. I really do. He said, I really appreciate your videos. Well, I appreciate your support, man, and watching. That's awesome. White Beard Sky Daddy. Mr. Tesla, can you hear me? I'd love to be able to have a rap session with him. That would be interesting. Of course, he's going to be like everybody else. The guy is basically an icon to me because of, entrepreneur. He's into, like I said, a boring company, SpaceX, Tesla, and whatever else he's got his hands into. These are the kind of people we need to, like, push the human race to evolve, so to speak, technologically, get out and be spacefaring, so on and so forth. But I do believe he knows exactly what's going on. He's just not going to say a word. Like, if you hear him talk about aliens, what does he say? There's no tech, it might be. But he has said he thinks there are aliens now. I think he has said not recently, and I don't mean like last week, but a while back he said that. He says, I believe there may be aliens. Of course, we haven't seen any. Listen, if he's in good with NASA and these other, like Virgin Galactic and all of these people, Bezos, and Don good and well, he's in the know. Sharpie said, Chris, some repetitive signals are star systems spinning and sending radio signals out as suns die or go black. Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of, you get frequencies and sounds and everything else from these different, again, whether explosions, just the functionality, there's nebulas and just different energies coming from them. So they're in frequency, right? They have different frequencies. But what they're noticing is that, again, it's in the C band, rather. I'm sorry, the C band, and it's becoming more and more repetitive. So they're going, okay. Now, I don't know if they've encrypted or somehow deciphered the signal, because it would have been decrypted, but if they've done that, so the question would be, every time you get that signal, is it a different, if it's on C-band frequency, has it changed at all? In other words, is there an actual signal within that radio wave? Is it like a TV broadcast, a radio broadcast? Is it different every time you get it, even if it's the same strength, at the same intervals? Is it still the same information coming through it? That's what I'd be curious about. Octahedron ENS. It's crazy how they lie to us about saying that there are no planets away in Alpha Centauri, but know how many, and what types of planets that TRAPPIST system has. Yeah, of course. Listen, they know this crap. 40 light years. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out what you were saying there. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Like I said, they can almost see it like a gnat in an atmosphere of a planet like 40 light years away, but just can't seem to see anything else. So yeah, I agree with you. It's crazy. Whitebeard Sky Daddy, there is no way to decode syntax. Embodied beings who eat and poop would likely share many other similarities to Earth human bipeds. The language barrier could be overcome. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, if it's something similar to what any language we have on Earth, we would pretty much decipher it. So, okay. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Rico, you said, is NASA ignoring Phobos? No. They know exactly what's there. Like that big monolith that Buzz talks about. Oh, what is this thing just jumped on me here? I am Merkin. What's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Hi, Chris. Question: If you have a whole planet to look at, if just rocks are your thing, why does everyone send rovers to the same areas? Well, I mean, they're not in exact same areas, right? But you're right. I mean, the question is, why do that? Again, we're looking at rocks, and a couple things come to my mind. They don't trust the United States. That's the reason why they're sending their own probes, landers, whatever, orbiters. So they don't trust the United States, so let's send our own. Or they know that they're hiding stuff and said, hey, why don't we get our own first look? our hands are not tied. They're not telling us we can't go because they don't own Mars. But I think they got a treaty where they say, the other one can't infringe on the other or whatever. You get one pot, you get the other pot, and they know what's up there. So they're grabbing this information. It's mind-boggling. If there's nothing up there to see, there's no reason for these people to be going there. Like I said, I don't know how many countries are there now. It's just ridiculous. Let's see, India, China, Russia, of course, us, United States. I mean, and then every other country that's had a part putting these things together. Because all them people will be in the know as well. Well, within reason. They don't necessarily have to be. But, come on. There's so many getting in on this right now. It's like, what is the point? It's a dead, it's just dry planet. There's nothing there to see. There's much more. Sharpie, I like that. I'm happy. I'm happy they named a mountain after me on Mars. Mount Sharpie. Nice. Durgan, you said, what if aliens have signals since they have different equipment than today? Then we can't understand or understood of an alien language which couldn't explain it. Well, again, we don't know. Here's the thing. We scan the frequencies. I forget exactly what it is. It's from the very bottom below AM band to, AM modulation. It's all the way down past that to all the way up past in the gigahertz frequencies. What if they're using a frequency that's totally unknown to us? Then what? Maybe they're not using radio waves. Maybe they're using light. Like we talked about before. Maybe these FRBs are communications. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's a possibility, right? So, but what if it's totally, we think that we know everything. We don't. Again, what we consider, like I said, we gave this object a name. It's a cell phone. That doesn't mean it's every other, civilization is going to call a communication device the same thing we do. It could be an acclamar. We don't know what the hell they call this stuff. We have no clue. We don't even know if the frequencies, just because we scan our frequency that we know that's known to man, is every frequency ever known. There's just no way to know that. It could be something totally different than we are even aware of. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, guys, unfortunately, I must leave you, and that sucks. We're in a species in infancy, floating on a speck in the infinite sea, peeking into the void, and wonder and awe. Hello, we whisper. Anyone there? Is there anybody out there? Just not if you can hear me. Oh. All right, Whitebeard Sky Daddy, good to have you in there. I do appreciate your support, and, it sucks that you got to leave, but I'm glad you're here, because I think you said earlier you might not be able to stay long, so I do appreciate you throwing in comments and stuff like that, and again, supporting the channel. So you have a good weekend there, right? Yeah, Samantha, some more Morris of the Cat. Hi, Chris. I hope you are well. I am, Samantha. I do appreciate that, and I hope you're well as well. I am glad to catch your show today. It's been a while. It has. Let's see. I have seen you with Rich over there on Goof On, though, so I'm glad, you're over there, too. And it's because I go on there and I'll listen to Rich every now and then as well. He actually said he'd probably, I'd like to get you on the channel one time. He never did actually ask me. So it'd be good to get on there with him, because I think we can have a really good conversation, him and I, where he differs, his what's the word I want to use? His views, some views he has is different than mine and vice versa. And it's kind of like when I have anybody on here, I love the idea of that, because maybe it's something I haven't thought of, or vice versa to him. Different opinions, different outlooks, different angles, so on and so forth. It's just good to have different minds on with you, it helps. Advanced aliens could soon detect life on Earth, says scientist. Now, think about this. We were just talking about this. And I'll say a quick hello to Valerian the Mac 3. What's going on? Good to have you in there. So we were just talking about this very same thing. Now, we'll read this again. Advanced aliens could soon detect life on Earth, say scientists. Okay, again, doesn't it work vice versa? Would they have the equipment to pick up our frequencies we're talking about? And then if they could, would they be able to understand us? Would they have a variety of languages on their planet like we do? Right? Different countries, different languages, whatever. So do they have the same language on their planet, or is it multicultural, multi-language like here on Earth? And again, to start with, would they be able to pick up our frequencies? We assume that everybody be listening to the same frequencies. They can do the same thing. We don't know that. White Bear Sky Daddy said, everyone in this chat is a cut above every day in average. Every source on this planet should be aligned to use every precious individual to explore our surroundings. That's true. Oh, yeah. Again, have yourself a good one. Ricardo, he said, and we fly through the void at 1,000,000 miles per hour on this little blue marble. That's a fact. Occupy Mars, Valerian the Mac 3. Absolutely. Alfie Joe Bob, what's going on? Good to have you in there as well. FJ Murphy said, on the surface, plenty of ruins, but subterranean? Well, that could be. Samantha said, I'm well and always watching your finds. Well, I appreciate that. I know you've been in here for quite a while yourself. You've been here. Corey Joey said, could their tech be so advanced that we wouldn't recognize it right in front of us? That's true. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, we know from science, our science, that, again, if we would go by technology, and we're talking about radio waves here, we look at our spectrum, radio spectrum, but that's our radio spectrum. Different transmissions of energy, because basically radio waves are energy, right? So is it possible they're transmitting in some kind of different light? Think about that. It just doesn't have to be an actual frequency of just bright light. It could be something else. We don't know. You know, we'd have to put up a receiver to actually receive in light as well. You know, it would make more sense. Because if you're going to listen to radio waves, but also what about light as well? And I don't think they actually consider that. Well, I shouldn't say that because I believe that they're using, laser to get information back and forth from Mars, the orbiters back to here. And it's just not simple, radio waves. And now they have talked about, even if that's not true, they have talked about using lasers and stuff like that and the information sent back. And I think that's already ahead of that. Ricardo said we would only be able to pick up their frequency if they have required equipment that resonates at those frequencies. Exactly. So again, we don't know. We're going by strictly what we know here on Earth. It's proven that we use, like I said, from one end of the spectrum to the other spectrum as far as frequencies. We know we have military, we have maritime, we got amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, so AM, FM, shortwave, so on. The list goes on, right? Data, laser, well, because we do have that. C-band, we use it for uplinks, and then KU for downlinks, so on and so forth. I mean, the list goes on. Aliens on nearby stars could detect Earth through radio signals leaked from the planet. New research suggests. Doesn't that kind of go into the no crap category? But like you're saying, Ricardo, they'd have to have a receiver, basically, that would be able to pick up our frequencies and vice versa. Scientists from the University of Manchester and the University of Mauritius use crowdsourced data to simulate radio leakage from mobile towers to determine what alien civilization might detect from various nearby stars, including Barnard's star, 6 light years away from Earth. The research published on a monthly notice of the Royal Astronomy Society, a journal, found that only more technologically advanced civilization would be able to detect the current levels of mobile tower radio leakage from Earth. However, as most alien civilizations are likely to have more sensitive receiving systems, and as we move towards more powerful broadband systems on Earth, the detectability of humans from other intelligent beings will become more and more likely. Well, again, how do we know they're not super, high tech, like somebody just mentioned in here, and that we wouldn't even be able to detect them? Their signals could be like an infrared instead of a simple light burst. It could be just weird stuff we don't even know about yet. Oh, there goes a car with a fart can on it. Oh, we're going to add about 400 horsepower just by putting this fart can on it. Gotta love that. Ann Spence, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. He said, War of the Worlds is one of the most, or the best sci-fi books ever written. It's hard to believe it's over 100 years old and more modern than a lot of modern sci-fi. That's true. Yep. Yeah, I'd love to, Samantha. You said it would be great to have you do a show with Richie. Yeah. Remember I was on there one time. He goes, yeah, I got to get you on. And, of course, never heard anything about it. And that's fine. It'd be cool to collaborate with him. Get on there and just throw some shit around, I think he's a good guy. I like it. I like Richie. Hey, Richie. Professor Mike Garrett, team leader of the project of director of Jodrell Bank Center of Astrophysics at the University of Manchester, said, I've heard many colleagues suggest that the Earth has become increasingly radio quiet in recent years, a claim that I always contested. Yeah, that kind of sounds weird. Although it's true we have fewer powerful TV and radio transmitters today, the proliferation of mobile communication systems around the world is profound. While each system represents relatively low radio powers individually, the integrated spectrum of billions of these devices is substantial. Well, here's the thing, too. You got to remember, again, you have I'm trying to remember what these things are. You can go by, if you look at some of these TV stations, radio stations, they'll have like most of these dishes I've seen are made by Andrew. Okay. Now these are usually in C-band, the uplink in C-band, they get converted to digital and then back down to KU band. So you'll see this on your, DirecTV, Dish. People in Canada was what, oh boy, I used to hack this too. What? ExpressView up in Canada. So just the uplinks alone, just because they're going to a satellite out in space here and then downlinked, does not mean those radio signals ain't going out into space too. So it's not just, radio signals themselves, meaning from radio stations and stuff or TV stations. So it's much more than that. There's a lot more radio pollution or radio waves of pollution going out into space. And keep in mind, a C-band is much more precise, meaning signal-wise. This is the reason why you'll see a lot of these, they're being used so in the weather. Like I used to get like 23 channels, both combined, 26. It was C-band and KU combined. I had a combination LMB where I could get both bands, right? But like on a regular DirecTV or Dish Network, if it rained like hell out, your signal would drop off. Not that thing. I've had a sheet of water come down, man. It just rained like there's no tomorrow. And I'll be damned, I had to lose a signal, not a shred of signal because of that dish, because it's more precise. Current estimates suggest that we will have more than 100,000 satellites in low orbit, Earth orbit, and beyond before the end of the decade. The Earth is already anomalously bright in the radio part of the spectrum. If the trend continues, we could become readily detectable by any advanced civilization with the right technology. The models which demonstrate the signals that aliens may receive from Earth were generated by Romero Sadie, I guess it is, an intern at the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is SETI, Institute's So, yeah, and it's showing right here, this radio spectrum, okay, cellular satellite and internet. And you can see that. And I guess they did this test. It says a histogram of total hits, signals likely to be associated with radio frequency interference as a function. And you see that. So you got 3 gigs up to 4 gigs. So, and they did all these different hits with it to try to detect. Pretty interesting. So there's much more going out there. And these people would have seen this a long time ago, if they have the right equipment. Mr. Mike Hoover, what's happening? Good to see you in there, man. So what's up, Brother Chris and all brilliant space cats? What is happening? Okay, Goat Hutz, he said, yo, Chris and fellow Martians, I'm off to bed. Have to travel early in the morning. Inspiring chat. As always, good night, y'all. All right. You do the same. You have a good night there and a good weekend or rest of it. Safe travels. Jump all the way down to the bottom here. Here's the thing I'm going to do. And we're going to check this out. We're going to do, basically, it's like an actual Martian video. I was going to do this video, and this is of Antarctica. So we're going to jump into that. I'm going to show you this. Okay, so this was sent to me. You see the Taylor Valley. And this was circled this area here. Really, really weird. I mean, this thing is so censored out, it's not even funny, right? Just bizarre. But what I find interesting, Michelle had sent me some information, some pictures, and it showed what looked like this weird dome type thing way in the back, not just so much in this circle, but this ridge here of mountains, which I don't believe are mountains at all. But we've done this particular area before. Now look at this crap. I mean, what is going on here? I mean, what is this? But folks, don't do anything to this photo. Look in the background here. All these small little things. Now keep in mind, there's white areas and brown dwarf areas, meaning brown areas. But here's the thing. Again, the colors are there to fool the eyes. And if we go over it with like a blur and stuff like that, we can literally take out, speaking of taking out, let me get rid of myself, just off myself. So when you look at this, come on. I've already determined this is complete crap in here. But what's funny about this is when I first looked at this, it almost looked like just walls sitting here. Look at this. You can see it going underneath this right here. Underneath this darker area. So this darker area is not solid. This is a censoring of sorts. She was also talking about this area here, like an embattlement wall right here, and that there's structures in here. Okay? She's correct. What's really funny is, again, you see all of this crap here, but take a close look. This is cool. You can see part of white right here. But then look right here at the very edge. There's some white. Look what looks like a arch right there. And all you're seeing is bits and pieces of this whiter area of that. You'll see this a little bit better in a second. Here. These are multiple structures or a giant structure with multiple smaller structures on there. Okay? Here. All the way down the bottom here on the right is actually what looks like a little dome thing type thing right here. I'm going to go ahead and let's do this. You can see it right there. Now, this photo's not clear to begin with, which is insane, but it's not. And I'm going to share a link with you folks in here in a little bit because she asked me to share this particular link with you folks. But again, we have these weird areas doing this, going across. But then if you look at these smaller areas here, you can see what looks like a bunch of squares. Different things up here. I don't believe that the sky ends here. And you'll see what I mean in a moment, because I'll show you the enhanced. Really, really cool. And then I'm going to put it into black and white and really bring this stuff out. Yeah, exactly, Pete. You can see it says, look at the background, way in the background. Yeah. You can see some straight areas right here in white. So there's literally, well, I didn't do it that way. It wasn't going that way. Going like this. Looks like it comes down, does this. Hidden. Let me see something. In plain sight. Now I'm going to do this. Bring up the brightness. Okay. I'm going to go back into this. again, you can see, now this, don't get me wrong, this could be in fact manipulation because it looks like they just kind of went like this, just kind of made areas dark here. But again, we have these white pieces sticking out of this, and I can see what looks like this weird, almost looks like an arch type thing, and there's more than one of these, by the way. And then there is a bunch of structures in here, and we've talked about this before. Okay. There's some things here. And have a look at this area here. Let me see if I can zoom in. I don't know if it's going to break apart on me or not. But right here, there's 1, 2. They look like they're just squares right there. There's 1. So there's 1 here, and something that appears white inside this one here. There's something else right here. Folks, again, if it's a snowed out area, there's a bunch of snow here. We can see that. It'd be so easy, just like on the moon, to just block out anything we don't want you to see. There's actually objects here. Well, let me say here. There's actually objects here on the left, but again, you can't make it out because it's highly brightened up, and a lot of that is fake snow. Okay, so let's jump into the. Let me see. Hold on. Ricardo said, I like the clouds in this image. Oh, yeah. Renee V said 100% true bomb, full of buildings and bizarre objects. Valerian said, be back later. Got to drop some losing Carbella's. Okay. Renee V said, there's also an amazing high tower. Oh, yeah. So let's get into this. And we're going to do this here. Now, folks, let's see what it brought out. Much, much more in this photo. There's now more depth. We have objects that are underneath. Just going to circle this whole area on the right. What is this object sitting right here? I shouldn't, it's not just one object, right? But right here alone, something looks like it's on this, some kind of weird pad right here. You can see that. Is it a structure? Is it some kind of weird little craft? What is this thing? Here's that little dome type thing right there in the middle. You can see other structures. It looks like other structures. Got these two pieces running right along each other there, right there. And a bunch of structures inside here. Now there's actually depth. You can see some height to these objects. Square areas. Pieces coming toward you, rectangular pieces coming toward you, squares that are just up in the air, objects that are just right there in your face kind of thing. Exactly, Ricardo. Yeah, there's a lot of things here that he says we already know there's things here. Absolutely. Now, I've actually visited this picture before, but it was able to bring out just a little bit more stuff. And then, of course, it's for people that has not seen this before. Okay, I was doing a full enhancement, and we're going to have a closer look. Objects right here. Again, on the bottom here, you can see right here. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the screen. You can see both circles. It's pretty big, Sharpie. I don't know the exact area, how big it is, but we're talking pretty mega-sized areas here on the very left. Again, this was hard to bring out because you can see how they did their best, like right here, where it's funny how they do this because of literally like make a highlight shiny white kind of thing, right, to block out anything that's there. So the best thing to do is try to bring the stuff down. That's when you start to bring objects out. Not always, because they do a really good job of taking the stuff out. Now let's go over to here and have a better look. Folks, this back area alone. Got this weird piece right here. Coming down, doing that. All will look like little structures inside this. Here. If you're on the phone, get out your magnifiers. Again, here, we now have height to this. Check them things out. And you can see right here where I showed, it looks like some kind of weird arch piece coming through that. There's another one here. Whatever these objects are, they appear to be structures. She was talking about a wall here. She's absolutely correct. See that? And again, we can see different height of these little pieces. One here. We got a rectangular piece here. Something on top of that. It's hard to tell because it's not going to show great detail. These things are off in the distance. Different shapes, different objects, sitting on different pads and everything else. Absolutely crazy. This stuff in here, again, we can do this. Go back to the original. Right here. Again, we can see like it's not something that is natural. We can see that. And I think there's much more of this white object sitting in here. Okay. Here's the original. Of course, that's their MO. Docking everything up. Put like a blur over everything. Make this area here look like it's just a flat rock. When clearly you can see what looks like a wall. You can see it like this going to the back. And this is all inside this walled area. You can see that. Do this. Go back here. And again, take away the blurring or the crap they're putting over this to make this look like a flat area. Suddenly you can see things that are different shapes, sizes, and everything else. There is much more in this area. Again, are there mountains in Antarctica? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, what they're showing in these pictures are not mountains. They may be on mountains, but that's not what they all are. They're not completely natural. This thing's built on top of these. And we're only seeing a small part of this, to be honest with you, folks. Because here's the thing. If you were to get rid of all this, you can see the actual photo and not just complete crap, then you would see there's much more to this. These may be like mega structures sitting right there, and that it's like right in the middle of this mountain ranges, and that's what we're seeing. They could be very well built on here. Who else just jumped in there? Mr. Patrick Owen, what's going on? Sharpie, you said it looks like Machu Picchu. Yeah, it kind of, doesn't it? Because it has like different areas, layers, and coming down and stuff like that, like on hills. Absolutely. Yep, Long Island, New York, 1395 is definitely in there. I think I said hello to him earlier. Mike Hoover said ship garage, import, export, landing pads. Yeah, we don't know what these things are, right? We can't tell. But we can also tell the difference between a rock. Well, you wouldn't see a rock. It'd have to be an awful big boulder because you're seeing this from a distance. As you can see, we can back way out. This is the actual photo. So whatever that thing is, it's quite large. Now just imagine this is some kind of weird alien city and this thing's been here. And it's probably been over there since over 100,000 years. Because even with the soil analysis that Sarah had done with the team, they said there was proof of industrialization in Antarctica. So there were structures being built and everything. And this is over 100,000 years ago. It's like between 99 and 125,000 years ago. So that's insane of the amount of stuff that's in here. Again, the only thing you can come up with is that they're structures. And from a good distance away, these are quite large. I remember seeing this the first time and I broke it down. You can see, like I said, there's a bunch of I don't know how they managed to do it, but if you look carefully, you can see like this piece here, just like peeking out of this blackness. So you try to bring out any of that you can, but again, this piece here is the thing that really popped. And there's more to it than that because this thing literally, you can see like a brighter area, like a round circle. Hey, it's a giant key. You can see there's more to it underneath. You just can't make out the shape. However, we were able to get a lot of the shapes through this. Is here on the right-hand side. Again, look at all the little objects in here. Different things, different shapes. I mean, see, the thing is, they're going to try to hide a lot of stuff more in the front because what? It's closer. Makes more sense to try to block it out. The back, they didn't try to black out that much, guys. They didn't take most of it out. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck this thing is right here. I don't know what that is. It's really wild. This right here. Put it right in the middle of the screen. Look at the shape of that. Even on the original. See how they did that? I'm going to go bring this back down. Right there. Look how they did that. That's wild. But you can see that. And if you look carefully, folks, you can see these objects without doing a thing to it, although it is blurry. But you can literally take this photo. Let me see something here. Let's just shop and do a smart shopping on this. What do you think? Let's bring this way up here. About 3. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I can start to see structures inside there, over here, without doing a thing to this photo. There's something up in here. You can see the shapes inside it. There's one here. Multiple things. I don't think this is a skyline at all. I think there's actually more to it than that. Let me slide it over to the right here. Again, I'm going to put this in the middle here. Look at these objects right here. Yeah. Original. Shop it up. You see more detail. Check that out. Definitely 100%. Which one are you talking about, Ricardo? Let me see. You said the circle. Are you talking about this one here in the middle of the screen? Dark shape at 1 o'clock. See, I'm trying to figure out what part we're talking about now. Let me put all of these here, right there in the middle. And you can tell me which one if I'm even close to the area you're talking about. But again, this is the blurry part. And like I said, we'll sharpen it up. We'll do this. We'll smart sharpen that. So you can go from this to this. Now, there you go. You said, well, your question was, are there any ancient myths about Antarctica? Any clues in the ancient myths that could be there? Well, I mean, you know, what people, the stories are telling is that there was structures there that weren't built by us, and these things have been here for hundreds of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or at least over 100,000 years anyway, and that there's a lot of amazing things in here. Now, folks, I'm going to drop you this link so you guys can check this out. This is from Sarah Michel. This is the link. It'll take you right to the Taylor Valley Ruins. Okay? So the part on this, and there's much more in here. She goes in descriptive area and tells you all about this. Everything you need to see here. I'm going to give you the link. I'm going to drop it right now. Go there, check the page out. You won't be disappointed. Like I said, I've seen this and I've done a video on this. Okay, here is the link. I'm dropping it right now. If you have to, just grab the link, put it in a tab, and just put it aside for a little bit later. There you go. Now, there's a lot of crazy things in McMurdo, Taylor area, all of these places, or parts of Antarctica, if you will. I'm trying to figure, are you talking about right here, Ricardo? You said Stairway to Heaven kind of thing? Or are you talking right here? Because it does seem to go up like that. Mike Hoover, yeah. Definitely old pictures of weird, cool landscape. Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Long Island, New York. Linda Moulton Howe is a nut. Well, again, I mean, I like her as a person. The problem with it is, I mean, she's just spewing out stuff that anybody can spew out with no proof at all. Like I said, it's like on a simple, scale like what we do here. We get a photo, we analyze it, I give you the link. Well, now you can do your own work because you can actually have, not physical because you can't handle it, but you can grab this photo, put it into your manipulation software, enhance it and see for yourself. But when I tell you this story, and because I got to stay relevant, I can tell you anything, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, sure, don't believe me because I don't have to give a shred of proof because they'll tell me they'll kill me, so on and so forth. Let me do this. It's actually warmer in here, I guess, because I'm running the computers and stuff like that in here. Let me go ahead and turn on the old AC. God, technology is awesome. Okay, let's get rid of that. Ooh, excuse me. Gotta love a Wi-Fi thermostat. All right, let's turn this bad boy on cool. Submit. Oh, yeah. Turn it down. Okay. All right. Yeah, Mike, you can go to Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. Yes, it is ancient. It's AOL. But I've been using it for years and people know it. So that's why I keep using it. Yeah, I mean, your question, Long Island, and Ricardo's response, basically in a nutshell. Again, people get tired of hearing this. They hear, oh, these stories, wow, they're so fantastic. And then all of a sudden, there's no proof. Nothing. It's the same old, I'm going to, listen, I got video, guys. You guys wouldn't believe it, but I can't share it with you. Well, wait a minute. What are you talking about right now? That's bull. So what do you folks think? Are we seeing structures here? Right here? Back it off. I think I'm seeing a ton of it here. Absolutely crazy, the amount of stuff that's in here. I'm going to get rid of this little box here. And I don't know if you folks are actually combing over this thing with a fine-tooth comb, if you're even looking at it with a, if you're just like zooming into it, because I know you can zoom that thing on video now. If you're magnifying glassing it or, jeweler's piece, crazy stuff in here. Steve Garnham, what's going on? When'd you pop in there? Great for All's in there. What's going on, Great for All? Does anyone know anybody personally that's been to Antarctica? I don't. Nope. But there was a group of people that would go up there, whether they were geologists or whatever, some for scientific, quote unquote, some scientific stuff going on. And there is things there that don't belong there. Now, I remember when Sarah was talking to me, she'd say, hey, look at these photos I got from, and I don't remember his name now, that, he gave me these photos. So then I wrote back to her, and this is this very same picture where I actually filtered it for her, and you can see where they've manipulated this photo badly. I said, you realize these are doctored photos, right? She said, no, I didn't know that. I said, they're absolutely doctored. And they're only showing the public what they want you to see, what they want you to see. And I said, this is a bunch of crap. I said, but, she analyzed it. They analyzed it together and they found, oh, wow, we found a bunch of stuff in here ourselves. Like I said, Julia was looking at this. And so everybody looked at these things and said, whoa, what's going on here? Because I can see what looks like there's structures up here. And they're absolutely correct. Broke it down, found what looks like this wall. Now, keep in mind, she just sent me those photos, and she said there's a wall there. This has been on this computer for the past week and a half. At least that. No, it's been longer than that. Because I've had 4 photos in there, and I already dropped 2 videos within the last few days. So there was 3 more in here. So I got another one coming up. And then I figured instead of doing this, another video, I'd actually show you guys during the actual podcast. So you get an extra bonus there, right? Just really cool. But she saw it. Absolutely correct. Other structures all over the place. Background and foreground. Glenn Judd, what's going on? Good to have you in there, man. Okay, he said, gosh, just noticed you were on live. You know, isn't that sad? Rico, you said, I'm really interested in Linda Howe telling us more about the sea of evil darkness outside our universe. She promised to tell us in a future screen. But how do you believe anything? You know, like I said, there was a person I know that was doing moon videos with a telescope, a large telescope. And what I found amusing about it, there's no way for anybody to actually check themselves because this person had a very large telescope, and then, you know, they claim they've seen all these structures and everything else. How do you vet this yourself? You know, I can make up things, I can put in special effects, I can do anything I want. I would rather do the work that I'm doing, because when I had the photo and I say, guys, look at this in the photo, folks, look at this, folks, look at that. You can see it for yourself because you can grab the photo yourself and analyze it. Now, you're either going to say, I agree with him, or I do not. It's what you come up with. At the end of the day, it's what you believe and what you see. So that's why I do it, so you can get it and analyze it yourself. How do you do that? I mean, anybody can make up a fantastic story, and with technology, with, you know, Photoshop and all kinds of other things, you can come out with all kinds of fantastic things and make it look like it's real. There's no way of vetting it. And happy Saturday to you as well, Glenn. Good to see you there again. Patrick Owen, you said, I believe we were advanced millions of years ago. I tend to believe with you. Believe in you. That too. I tend to believe you because here's the thing. If the soil analysis was correct up in Antarctica, it's, like I said, it's over 100,000 years, there was high technology back then. Okay, so how do we know that Earth it's going through a cycle, it ended, had another ice age, practically killed off everybody, people still lived, and we are what we are today. The Earth goes through cycles, so it's like 16,000, 32,000, whatever years. It literally cycles, pole shifting, everything else, catastrophes, kills off most of the people on the planet. Some live, start the population back over again. How do we know the cycle didn't happen 6 times already? We can only assume that's what's going on. We don't know that. But I think we do know that it's more than just us. In other words, this cycle's happened more than once. It's happened over and over again. So we might have been really, you know, technologically advanced, much more than we are today. We don't know that. People go, well, where's the proof? We don't know. What we had back in the day, and we're talking about even if we went back 1 million years ago, it'd be gone. Earth ate it. Basically, it grew up and around it and over it and everything else. It's in the depths of the ground. Or it simply eroded away. Okay? So I don't think we really know our past, and I think that's what they're trying to keep from us, which is sad. It really is sad because it would help people on the planet grow as a person and say, wow, we were something back then. Why don't we aspire to do the same thing and be the same way? Only let's use whatever technology we find for the better instead of, hey, let's use it as a weapon. It's I don't know. It's crazy. Marco Bessa, you talking about this area right here? Did you say, oh, check out that dome right here? This is what I was pointing out earlier. But it's not just that, because there is a bunch of them right here. If you look at that, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this here. And if I get rid of me right now, you can see this other piece right here, just below it. Right there. I mean, the list goes on. There's so much in this photo. It's sad, but it's cool at the same time. It's sad that they just blocked this out so we can't see it and know what it is. So, now, did everybody grab that link I dropped for, let me see here. I do this too. I want to make sure something here. Well, again, the question was, did you guys get the link to the Sarah Michelle's, decentering of Antarctica? Did you folks get that? Let me see something here. Let me see. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just reading something here. But yeah. Bush Corey's taking off. Say good night all. Have a great weekend. You do the same, Bush Corey. Good to have you in there. And we'll see you on the flip-flop. Samantha said, agree, covering up our past. Absolutely. I mean, it's just, again, to me, everything I've discovered in my life, put it all together, it's a giant puzzle, and you can see we're being lied to about our past, what's on other planets. So in other words, not just so much our past, but if we have neighbors or we're part of something much larger. If the government, let's say I'm the government, and I say, if we can keep everybody thinking they're small, they don't have any power, they're minuscule, then there won't be an uprising. They'll think that their military is the strongest, that they can't get away with anything they want to get away with. But now on the flip side of that, if we were to show them, listen, we're much bigger than that, we're much more powerful than that, there's civilizations all the way around us. Wait a minute, are they stronger than and more technologically advanced than our military? Probably. Oh, God. So people go into a frantic. And again, militarization, use. So you'll never hear anything about these things because of, again, it's for the military. But I don't know. I get why they would do it, but then it hurts the growth of the human race, as far as I'm concerned. Ricardo said, I think our species has gone through many, many cycles of civilization developing and being destroyed. Each time it happens, we have to start over. However, our consciousness is not always the same level. Yeah, it makes you wonder if, in fact, we are, let's say we're like in a cyclical, maybe fifth, sixth cycle. Okay, so let's say we are in that cycle. And again, were we more advanced back then? And again, you had to start over again. So you basically, we are, who's the one that said it? Is it Wilcox? No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. The one that said we're like a civilization or human beings with amnesia that we don't know. And, you try to get your brain to wrap around that kind of thing because you're going, if that's the case, what did we look like back then? I don't mean like physically wise, but I mean, what kind of technology if that was true? Maybe the things that were on the moon were ours. We don't know that either. If we were more technologically advanced than we are now, far ahead of what we are today, how do we know? How do we know that we didn't go to the moon a long time ago and we're mining? You know what I mean? We don't know. This could have all been ours, or it wasn't ours at all. So but either way, it's equally intriguing, and you you just wanted more answers to it. Enrico, you said, it seems they don't want us to learn our ancient past because we might learn the attitude of ancient civilization had. Well, again, they want to keep us small and thinking on a small scale. There's nothing else. That's it. We're on this little ball. That's it. End of be all. Your government is powerful. We're here to protect you, so on and so forth. But again, if you were to see a mothership come into Earth and every airplane or jet try to blow this thing up and it just sneezed at it, you'd be like, oh my God, we're basically screwed. We're all going to die here. It's going to be like an Independence Day. Our military is powerless against these people, so we'll all be unfair. They don't want that. But on the other side of the token, if you knew you were much more powerful, you were part of something much larger, then you would know that your military is weak. And you'd be like, okay, again, you'd be still afraid, but you'd be going, wow, but I want to know more. At least a lot of people would want to know more. Now, if they came out and they said, oh, by the way, there was a civilization on Mars, we have proof of that. There's nothing alive on it. They were probably somewhere our technology, somewhere, give or take, or they were more advanced. This is what we found. I don't know why people would freak out and kill themselves or do anything stupid. What are your thoughts on that, folks? Sharpie said, Chris, hey, what do you think of this idea of the square area in the base of the pyramid that's only got shallow walls left? I don't know. I'm not sure. The more I look at this thing, right here, the more I look at this, it looks like it's got more height to it right here. Like we're only seeing the tops of these objects. You look at that, see that? Because it looks like you can actually see the corner almost to this wall. Do you folks see that? It looks like it's doing this. So if that's true, these things look like they have height to them. You just can't see inside there because you can see you can see where they've done this. Right here. You can see the area where they centered it out. Right here. You can literally almost see the line to it, how they did this. Here's the same way. It does this. So you're seeing these objects. I can see these are cool right here alone. It looks like little objects with something on top. Folks, see that? That's actually pretty neat. The more you look at this photo, the more cool it becomes. Blue Flash, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Well, when we had the circles on there earlier, we had these different objects in here. We're just going to back it out a little bit. Get rid of the line. And again, if you have a magnifier or anything, just have a look at these objects. They're all over the screen. Over this mountain, supposed mountain, both front and back. And clearly, these are not just rocks or boulders. They've got shape to them. Like intelligent shape. The guy who said, each time I believe that the Yugo cycles describe this and tell us how our consciousness waxes and wanes over a long period depending on our solar system's cyclical galactic position. True. I think so too. I mean, I don't know. Everybody would love to know the answers to all of this, and we don't. However, we can see what's left in the past and what they're trying to cover up, and to me it's sickening and it's frustrating. But it's almost like they're leaving it open purposely to say, hey, listen, again, if people want to find this, we're going to allow them to see it. Not all, but we're going to allow them to break these photos down and find it for themselves. So somebody had said this too. They said, well, if they do that, then they didn't lie, did they? Well, they did because they're censoring out the photos. However, the truth is in the photos. So we did share it with the public. We didn't lie. Well, you are lying because you're saying there's nothing on Mars. There's nothing there that's living. And that you're trying to find, proof of ancient life, if there was any, quote unquote, from them. Well, clearly if the structure's there was much more. They had to have food, had to have energy, had to have everything we have here on Earth. So clearly all of this stuff existed, and it's not just microbial. I mean, we know this. I mean, come on. Oh, that's why the thing echoes. Okay. So as soon as I started to mess with this, let me see something here. Now I'm starting to get an echo. You guys get an echo in this thing? The second let me see this. Oh, I think I know why. I think I hit this button by accident. Okay, that's better. I actually had an echo when I was making my video. And for some reason, I couldn't get rid of it. It's just weird. But this thing had auto-tune, so if you're like trying to sing, yeah, good luck with that. Oh, okay. You said a Yuga cycle. Let me turn this down here. Okay, sounds better. My voice doesn't. Is that my voice? So basically, we just did a video on our podcast. What do you guys think of that? I'm just looking at something here, too. What is on the edge here? Way down here. Yeah, there's more things in here. A lot more. All these super brighted areas, that's not by accident. Definitely not by accident right here. See what that looks like here. Now I can see these things. I don't have to do anything to it. You can see it all now. Right there. In fact, I'll take a, well, kind of blurs it too much. That's actually the real photo. Oh, right there. I can see all these objects, and right here was the brightest area. Excuse me. That was the brightest area. But you can see these objects are there. Pat Owen, you said, we are the aliens we see in the sky. It's just us evolved over billions of years. Tamty girl, I smashed over 2 hours ago. Alrighty then. Let me see. Here we go. So that's that. What do you guys think of that? Again, seeing the original. Like I said, there's so much in here that, like I said, just this alone, you can see this. Even if you never did a thing to this photo, let's zoom into this for a second. Right here. You can see this darkened area. I'm going to go like this because there is a line right there and does this. Goes down. You go, wow, look at that. There's two different areas here. No, it's not. You can literally see this thing going like this, going under this area, and it almost connects to it. It may actually connect, but you can see underneath this. This whatever this area is, travels underneath this. So you know that this has been put in. It's been put in. And all of this right here, you can see these areas. I'm going to zoom way in. These objects are sitting right here. You can see them right there. And all of this, they're taking the face out of everything here, but you can still see the white. See that? See this blurring right here? So they're taking the face out of everything so that everything looks like it's just flat area. Let's zoom in. Folks, look at that stuff. You can see a separation of something here. You can see what looks like buildings or some kind of structures. You can see darkened area. Not sure if these kind of openings or the windows. I don't know what these are, but check that out. Now, again, let's go back to the original. It's blurry, can't make out anything. It looks like almost like a flat ground. And again, I beg to differ. I can see that right here going straight across and kind of dives down. But there's objects in here. There's a bunch of structures right here. And again, you can see that right here. That area taken right out. And yet, there's structures all in here. Either way you look at it, either photo. Again, yeah, it's just really weird how they took this out. And like I said, it's frustrating. Booyah. Oh, nope. Thank you anyway. Huh. I was looking this up. American investigative journalist, a regional Emmy Award-winning documentary filmmaker. Yeah, exactly. Show me the money. Mr. Seven Digit, what's going on? Been a while since I caught up one of these. Yeah, glad to see you in there, man. Ricardo, he said it's weird, but the image kind of looks like a flood of water coming in. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? If you look at it, it's kind of look like it's just, yeah, that is weird. Patrick, you said it looks like a mountain village town. Ralph Franco, what's going on? Good to see you in there as well. When did you jump in there? He said, hi, Chris. Ben here the whole time. Huge equipment. God bless. Oh, okay. Oh, thanks for jumping in there. Tam DeGrow said, great job digging this stuff out. Very intriguing. Patrick Owen, yeah, as you said, it's a shame we have to speculate areas of our own planet about things really are. Well, yeah. UFO logic, I think it is. It's a crime to forbid anyone from exploring and excavating this continent. I agree. Patrick Owen, you said, I bet there's gold in them there hills. Mr. 7 Digits said, actually looks like Nazca, the entire mountain top shaved off, forming a plateau. Well, like somebody said earlier, it looks like Machu Picchu kind of thing going on, right? There's no excuse for poor quality pictures on Earth, said Steve Garnham. Absolutely. I agree with you. Talking of photos, driving license picture looks like me reflecting on the back of the spoon. Oh, yeah, there you go. Mike Hoover, he said, what? Oh, David Wilcox did a video on Michael the Archangel, and damn, did he go off the rails. Did go off the rails. No scientific coolness about it. Well, again, Patrick, you said David Wilcox has been going kooky lately. I think it's kind of like when you watched Ancient Aliens, right? It was cool. It's really neat to see that stuff, and you're going, oh, wow, this is great. But the weird thing about it is when they start off good, like Ancient Aliens, and then they, like I said, I watched, I don't know what season it started at, but then it went to the new season, we're like, yeah, this is great. I think the first episode was good, and then it said, is Bigfoot? Let me do this. Is Bigfoot an alien? Oh, no. Come on, guys. What the hell? And right after that, I went, I'm not watching this anymore. I'm good. It's complete trash. They start off good and then just start going stupid because they're going, what else can I come up with that I can do? I got to get paid. What do I do? I got to come up with some other kooky story. And that's what they're doing. They're simply doing that. Mr. 7 did it. When has he never been kooky? And that's what I'm saying. They start off all good, kind of believable, and then right in the toilet. Why? Because they're going, I don't know what else to come up with. I got to come up with something cockamamie so this way I can still make money. That's what it's coming down to, folks. So you don't know who to believe. And when you hear all these like Elizondo and all these people, when they're doing these stories and they're giving you the public, supposedly giving them top secret information, you go, listen, when they started talking about the Tic Tac UFO and all of these things, I just went, you know what? Listen, I've been looking at stuff on the moon and on Mars. This shit here don't intrigue me. It doesn't. Because I know there's much more to it than just simple UFOs or things flying in the sky. In fact, now it could be like just normal people, like real large drones, and they're putting their own lights in there, and they can program it for different lighting features and do all kinds of crazy stuff with these things. So for all we know, it's just again, this false invasion already. We don't know that. Because I'm sure there's some people going, when they've seen the Tic Tac video, oh, I hope the military takes care of this. I hope they find out who it is. Again, we don't know who it is. Is it us? Is it another country? Or is it extraterrestrial? Outside our Earth, outside our solar system. But again, I know that the UFOs are true and they're real because of what's on the moon and on Mars. I'm not intrigued by it. And they still can't come out with a real photo of a UFO. Some come close, meaning amateurish. some are amateurs and they can come up with some decent stuff, better than the military at times. But then a lot of it is a bunch of crap. You guys know that. A lot of CGI. You see it on Facebook. Oh, look at this real UFO, and it's like it's complete crap. You can tell it's fake. But anything to get a hit on it, you know. Durgan, you said, I think we're constant of aliens and far planets could have planned for agreement or something bad to lead to aggression. Well, exactly, Patrick. Yeah, sensationalism. Yep, equals dollar bills. Yeah, I mean, I think every civilization will do that. What was that? Who's the one that made that? Talking about how civilizations come and go. They get too big for themselves, whether through technology or whatever. They kill themselves off, and basically the civilization implodes, and that's the end of their civilization. So that may be something that happened on Mars. We don't know. We're just saying, well, maybe that could be, you know. I don't know. It's hard to tell whether they killed themselves off, we killed them off, something else killed them off, or someone else killed them off. Ann Spence, you said Eric Von Daniken was the first one to think of the ancient aliens thing, I think. I was always skeptical about his books. Actually, he was, a lot of people tried to say his work is garbage, right? Now, there was some things that were misinterpreted, but a lot of that stuff was actually, he was pretty much spot on. He wasn't the first one to come out with this, and I don't remember this. There was one or two other people that come out with this prior to him, and he basically just, you know, went with it, and he did his own research and come out with the same thing. So he wasn't the first one to do this, his research and come up with that, like ancient aliens, right? So it would not surprise me, because ancient people, think about it. If you were back in the day, ancient people, you didn't have TV sets, you didn't have street lights, you didn't have any of this, you had nothing. So you could stare up at the night sky and see these things flying around. There weren't satellites back then. Now, of course, you could have meteorites going by, common sense, things like that. But you see something flying maybe even lower than that, you're going to go, what is that? The only thing you know is insects and birds. What could possibly be flying that gives off its own light? So I believe a lot of the ancient stories are true about how they saw aliens. Their gods came down from the heavens, taught them agriculture, mathematics, language, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. And that's what they talked about. Why? Because that was significant in their lifetime. You know, like I said, when you go into the India Mahabharata, depending on how you pronounce it, they talked about giant cities fighting in the sky with weapons bright in the sun and all this other stuff. Where did they come up with that? Was there sci-fi writers back in the day, or did this stuff actually take place? Now, there's areas on Earth where they believe there's like nuclear blast long before there was nuclear power. So what you have is glass, sand that's turned to glass because of a lot of heat. So there was explosions there. So they're going, does that back up the story of that? Could very well be, right? And Spencer, yes, he was the first one to popularize it, yep. Now, whether you believe him 110% is really comes down to you, right? I think in a lot of ways he was pretty much spot on. Now, I'll tell you why I believe him too. And again, I know he's probably misinterpreted a couple things, so not 100% of it is correct. However, how often has he changed his story? And has he elaborated and come out with some other weird, kooky stuff after the fact? Like a lot of these people, Linda Moulton Howe, Elizondo, constantly changing stories. What's his name? Greer. All of these people, and a lot of these people are good people. However, there's constantly evolving stories because they need to keep relative. They got to keep consistent, make bank. They don't have any other job but that. So what are they going to do? You know, that's what it comes out to. Good question, actually. Ricardo, you said, was Jesus an ancient astronaut? That got my attention at the age of 16. Well, and that's the thing. Again, if you've seen a person come down from some kind of object, come out of this object, dressed totally different than you would consider this person a god. First of all, he's got power of flight. So right off the bat, you're going to bow to these people. Oh, my God, I don't know who these people are, but good Lord. I mean, So it makes sense that they would worship these people, stuff like that. It's like these cargo cults. You heard about those. I think it was, what was it, World War II, when the military were on this island. There was indigenous people. They seen these people. They actually dropped off food from the sky, just dropped it to them so they can have food and everything else. And then when they all cleared out, they made like a makeshift runway out of like bamboo and trees and stuff like that. And they literally made an airplane out of like bamboo and trees and stuff, waiting for them to come back. So to them, those people were gods. Our own simple military were gods. But they came from the skies. These people never seen this. They never seen anything in the sky. Suddenly they see these military people coming and going. They're going, oh my God, it must be like, they're superior to us. They got gift of flight. So this is where cargo cults start. Elaine, first of all, oh yeah. What's going on, Elaine? Good to see you in there. Hi, Chris and everyone. Hope you're all doing well. And we're doing fantastic. I hope you're doing well as well. Good to have you in there as always. Enrico, you said if you want something mind-bending, check out Gods of the Bible. Graham Hancock talks about Moro, Big Leon. Oh, Big Lino. Oh, Lino. Recent video. Okay. I haven't seen that. I've got that book too, guys. When you guys are talking about Chariots of the God, I've got that here. Again, interesting stuff. This is what got him kicked off. Yeah, Simply Steve, exactly. Embellish and tweak the stories. Like I said, there's anybody who's got a good mind here could actually make up their own story and get away with it. Because you don't have to require proof. None. Zero. You don't have to come up with a thing. Ain't got the thing if you ain't got that swing. But yeah, absolutely. I'd drink to that, Shriners. We're having too much fun here. Let me see. Kurt Abanis, what's going on? Good to have you in there. Just peeked in there. Exactly, Ricardo. He said both advanced and primitive civilizations have coexisted on this planet for a long time. Absolutely. Mike Hoovey said, Billy Carson said Thoth, was the only one he knows of that told the people he wasn't a god. He was just from another place. Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the stories of Thoth, what he talks about is like on the Sphinx. When you're ready, you'll be able to find my spacecraft. And he talks about how it's in a, like basically underground underneath the Sphinx. So it's crazy. And the weird thing about it, the cool thing about the Sphinx is that they say, is it possible, or they believe that it was there before the pyramids. Been there for quite a while. So really, really wild. When you think how these things were built, the technology they had back then. I mean, again, they wanted to just believe that you're using like these brass like chisels and stones or these other makeshift hammers to build these things. Clearly, they were much more advanced to be able to build these. I mean, excuse me, a lot of it's got to do with just simple mathematics, right? And that's how you can build. But when you go into these places, even now, and you can't slide a razor blade between these blocks, that's insane. Everything's pretty much 90 degrees. You look at the walls, 90 degrees. Incredible. Mikey said they attacked Thoth at first. He blasted them with sound frequency waves. Yep. Simply Steve, he said, Hall of Records is supposedly beneath the Sphinx as well. They also said it was another chamber, I thought, too. Trying to think here. Wasn't that in the largest pyramid of the Giza, in the Giza Plateau? I could be wrong. But either way, a lot of that has been blocked off so people cannot see that either. But then there's other sections where you can see videos where they show like all of these hieroglyphs and things like that, which is really, really wild, right? Cool stuff. And again, a lot of these Egyptian guys, you know, these people that are curators of the place would say, oh, no, you can't go in there and everything else. It's like, what's going on here? I mean, I understand the protecting of the sarcophagus and all this other stuff, these burial chambers. I get it, because they want to put it in, they don't want it looted. They want to be able to put it in a museum. I get that. But there's much more to it than that. Jesus of the Truth says the Egyptian only put graffiti on the pyramids and all the other stuff. It's more like 36,000 years old, like Sphinx. Well, yeah, I mean, it's much older than they claim, right? At least that's what I've always heard. From decent sources, they said it is much older than that. Ricardo, you said one under the Sphinx. Well, the thing just jumped on me when Turklerin jumped in there. One in the Yucatan and one in Bimini. Ann Spence, you said there's been a secret chamber under the Sphinx. I haven't heard any news about it, or any new info about it. Yeah, I mean, there's different chambers they started opening as well, right? But that's supposed to be really, really wild down there. I don't know either, truthfully. Turklerin, what's going on? Good to have you in there. I seen you jumping there earlier, just didn't get to you. Most of these biblical stories are from Iskenderun Library in Alexandria, but the Great in Turkey. Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, yep. They burned the library, but question is, where are the leftovers, like the map of Perry Reese? Well, they've got that. I think the Perry Reese map is in a museum as well, I believe. But a lot of biblical stories were taken from the a lot of surrounding areas, right? Like a lot of this was taken from these pharaohs that were in Egypt, and like I said, I've talked about this before. I don't remember the pharaoh's name, but he literally said, "While I was alive, I did not kill. While I was alive, I did not, covet." So on and so forth. I'm going, why does this sound really, really familiar? Huh. What do you think amen came from? From Aman. So properly said, if you were to say Aman instead of amen, that's what it really amen came from. Let's see. A lot of the stories from, well, they were Israelites, but they were first the Canaanites, but they brought these stories from other cultures in that area. So a lot of these are stories thrown together and then put in the Bible. So it's not their stories, it's other people's. It's plagiarism. That's what it comes down to. Yep, Mike Hoover, Vatican Vault, Smithsonian Institute Vault. The Book of the Dead, yep. I've got that book too. Sharpie, hey dudes, I'm going to get some sleep as it's 2300. Oh, it's 11 o'clock where you're at, all right. Here and had a great night. Thanks all. Well, Sharpie, thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping in there and having a convo. And we're going to be doing the same thing, by the way. We're going to jump off this bad boy. Had a long day. Worked our butts off today, and yeah, and it's that, I don't know, it's that thing, hunger thing keeps kicking in. But, yeah, it's one less hour than we usually work, because we usually 3 hours. We're 3 hours into it. But it's always good to have everybody jump in there. And if you guys, does anybody else need that link I sent from the centering of Antarctica? Do you guys still need that? I'm going to drop it again So if anybody else wants that, check it out. Really check out the information on this page. You'll love it. And not to mention, once you get in there, you're actually going to you'll be able to go to the rest of the site, which is amazing. Yes, I am. Let's see here. Let me see. Just got a text. Let me see. All right. Let me see. Yep, Mike Hoover. Amen Ra. Well, like I said, it was Aman. So people got amen and said, oh, no, that's from the Bible. No, it is not. I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. Sorry about that, folks. Wife is out on the road asking me if I want something to eat. It's like, nah, I got something here. I'm good. So, yeah. Let me see. Turklerin, you said the question was, hi, Chris, do you know about Stromness Island UFO or whatever crashed near Antarctica visible on... No, I think I've seen something like that. Is that the one that looks like it skidded right along the ground? If it's the one I think it is, I don't know how true that is, truthfully. Let me see. I'm trying to think of there was some other thing I wanted to mention here about talking about plagiarism, stuff like that. But anyway, these areas, this information was taken from a lot of the areas around there, next to Egypt and all these other areas. And these stories were brought together to make the stories that you see in the Bible. That's a fact. You can look it up. Yeah, I didn't know there was a Tibetan one either, Steve. I know I got the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Black Book of the Dead. But if I don't eat, I'm going to be dead. So, again, another great hangout. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I'm going to chill for the rest of the week. I don't know about you folks, but if you worked on a Saturday like I do, it's like the weekend is just like gone. You got one day to chill if you're not going to do anything else. Because I still may have to go out there and do the lawn. It's actually what I love about this time of year is that at least the days are much longer and they're just getting longer. Well, I shouldn't say the days, but the daylight, right? Let's say it properly. I remember somebody saying, yeah, I mean, the days are longer now. No, they're always the same amount of hours. So I actually said it this time, right? But daylight is longer, so you get to get out and do a lot more things. But so depending on how I feel once I stuff my face. So anyway. Everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for all the support. You guys are awesome. Couldn't say it enough. Like I said, I wish we could actually get in a building and actually talk about it. Can you imagine that? That'd be crazy. Everybody, we just sitting here, yeah, we'd just be in there for like hours on end, just talking about different things. It'd be just wild. And I don't know. I mean, we have a good time in here, but you really can't. I can't hear you guys. So that kind of sucks. But we do go back and forth, which is awesome. He says, hey, thanks, Chris, for your time. Have a great weekend. Everybody else, too, because it's just awesome. I didn't send you this link, by the way. If you guys didn't get this link, like I said, the Antarctica link, here it is right here. Grab the link. If you haven't, check it out. Read the page. You'll love it. There's so much information. Like I said, then you'll be on the site because that's just one page, one area of that site. Much more information on Antarctica if you're intrigued with it. Or you can jump over to my Antarctica page, which I can leave always in the link underneath this video when it finalized through YouTube, and I can leave the link down there as well, and you can check out my Mars videos, the Antarctica videos, and Sarah's thesis rolled up into like a scrolling video. So you can check that out as well. But a lot of good information right here on Earth. You don't have to go to the moon. Don't have to go to Mars. Just the stuff that's being concealed from us, from our government. Because a lot of these guys, these researchers that go down there, they work with NASA as well. I'm so surprised. Wow. That's mind-blowing. Think about it. So anyway, folks, I'm going to jump off this thing. Thank you all for being here, sharing the time with me. I always have a great time being here. It's my getaway from the just everyday hustle and bustle. So it does my heart good to spend the time with you folks. My voice sometimes doesn't agree with that, but I don't care. But anyway, much love to everybody out there. What time is it now? Wait till maybe about 25 past the hour, and we'll go ahead and shut down the stream. So I'm going to let everybody chat a little bit. Everybody have a great day, great weekend coming. Well, I was going to say coming up, but the rest of the weekend we'll say, and a great week coming up. It's going to be warmer here, so I'm going to enjoy that, even though I'm working. But when I get out of work, we'll be fine. So everybody have yourself a good one. Be safe. Much love to you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. 4 more minutes till stream shutdown. Once again, thank you everyone for a fantastic evening. You guys are awesome. And I can see you guys saying, who's going to be the next one to win? It's going to hang out the latest. But I appreciate you all. Like I said, much love to everybody. All right, folks, the stream is now shutting down. We'll see you all later. Have yourself a good weekend. And I'm back out.